Hey there, in the previous video we have solved a DI set which was based on tabular charts, and that was of a medium difficulty range, right? In this video we'll be solving a difficult set. Now, as I have told you in the previous video also, a set becomes more and more difficult by logic rather than by calculation. Right, if there is lots and lots of calculations inside a set, that might take a bit of time, but eventually everybody will be able to solve it. But a set which has extra amount of logic involved in it, there might be cases where a student might not be able to crack the logic, because of which none of the questions will be solved. Right, so that's the risk in a difficult set which is more logical than calculation prone. Right, so we'll see that sort of a set here which is more logical, and generally in these kinds of sets the amount of information remains quite low. So let's go through the set once. See, on the left hand side, whatever we have, that's the entire information. We don't have any other information at all. So they are saying in a fast food outlet exactly 4 different types of burgers are sold: veg burger, egg burger, chicken burger, and egg chicken burger. Right? These are the 4 types of burgers sold. The following table gives the price of each of the above mentioned types of burgers sold in the outlet. So each veg burger costs 40 rupees, each egg burger costs 70, each chicken burger costs 100, and each egg chicken burger costs 120 rupees. That's the only information. Now, looking at the table, we can understand that we don't have anything to do here, right? There is no data that we can interpret from here. Looking at the question, you'll find that in each and every question, there is extra information given. So that is where we have to keep on applying different sorts of logic, right? Let's move on to the first question. The question says, if on a particular day, at least 45 burgers were sold in the outlet, and a total amount of rupees 3,000 was collected, then find the minimum number of veg burgers that must have been sold on that day. So what is given? We know that at least 45 burgers were sold in the outlet, okay, and the total amount collected was 3,000 rupees. Now we have to minimize the total number of veg burgers sold on that particular day. Now, how do we start thinking? First of all, let's assume there are 45 burgers. 45 burgers were sold. If it was 3,000 rupees, always start thinking from the extreme scenarios. Like, can all the 45 burgers be egg chicken burgers? Because I want to minimize the total number of veg burgers, right? So I would want it to be 0. But as I can see in the options, 0 is not there in the options, right? So, can all the burgers be egg chicken burgers? Definitely no, because 45 into 120 will be far more than 3,000. Can all of them be chicken burgers? No. 45 into 100 gives me 4,500, so definitely not possible. Can all of them be egg burgers? 45 into 70, that's close enough to 3,000, but definitely not exactly 3,000. And obviously, I won't want all the burgers to be veg burgers. That is not the agenda. The agenda is to minimize, not maximize. Now, we understand that to reach closer to 3,000, we can start by assuming all the burgers sold to be egg burgers. That's the closest value to 3,000. From there, we have to keep on dropping one by one and check that how many of the burgers sold are mandatory to be veg burgers. That's what we have to do. This is the logic we have to understand. So to minimize the total amount collected as well as the total number of veg burgers sold, we consider all the burgers sold to be egg burgers. Because the moment I go to chicken burgers and egg chicken burgers, the total amount shoots up like anything. It's not even in the range of 3,000, right? So let's say the total amount collected is 3,150 if there are 45 burgers. But that's not the actual amount, right? The actual amount collected is 3,000. So how much is the difference? The difference is 150 rupees. We have to compensate for that. Now, we What have we considered? We have considered all the 45 burgers sold to be egg burgers. That's what we have considered here. But that gives me a total value of 3150, which is 150 more. So what I have to do now is convert an egg burger into a veg burger. One egg burger into a veg burger. If I do that, what is the total drop in the amount? Because I know I have to drop it by 150 rupees, right? So egg burger costs 70 per piece, veg burger costs 40 per piece. So the drop has to be rupees 30, right? If that is the scenario, what's the minimum number of such rupees 30 that you would keep on collecting so that rupees 150 gets compensated? Obviously 5 of them. So 5 such transformations will compensate for rupees 150, which means it's mandatory that at least 5 of them must be veg burgers and rest all can be egg burgers. So what did they want? They wanted us to figure out the minimum number of veg burgers that must have been sold. I can say 5, which is option C. That has to be the answer. Right? Moving on to the next question. If on a particular day at least 80 burgers were sold in the outlet and the total amount collected was at most 8200. Now in the previous one we had rupees 3000 fixed. That was the total amount of money collected. Here it's not fixed. It's 8200 at most, a maximum of 8200. And what we have to figure out is the maximum number of egg chicken burgers that must have been sold on that day. So egg chicken burgers, rupees 120 per piece. We have to maximize that value. Okay. Usually, what would a student do? Like the logic that we applied in the previous one, how would a student approach? That to maximize the total amount collected as well as the total number of egg chicken burgers sold, we consider all the burgers sold to be egg chicken burgers. Obviously, that's what we would want. If they're asking us to maximize, we would want all the 80 burgers sold to be egg chicken burgers. If that is the scenario, then the total amount collected would be 120 times, they said at least 80 burgers. So it has to be greater than or equal to 80. So the total amount collected would be greater than or equal to 9600, which means there is a deficit of 1400 here. Now, usually what would we think? That okay, we have a deficit of 1400. Now, let's keep on decreasing the number of egg chicken burgers and let's keep on adding chicken burgers instead, right? Because the price of each chicken burger is high in comparison to veg burger and egg burger. So that can eat up more amount of money which has to be compensated. So the amount of money that has to be compensated, let's cover it up completely with chicken burgers only. If that is the scenario, then we'll start converting egg chicken burger to chicken burgers, right? We know that it's 120 per piece. This one is 100 per piece. So if I make one conversion, I decrease the value by 20 rupees. I have to make a total decrease of 1400. In that case, 70 such transformations will compensate for 1400. That's huge, right? In that case, number of egg chicken burgers will become 10 because in total I had 80 burgers sold and chicken burgers will be 70. Is that even possible? They're asking us to maximize the number of egg chicken burgers and we find that it's only 10 out of 80. That's definitely not possible. There must be something problematic in this entire approach. Let's think in a different way now. What we understood is, out of the 80 burgers sold, I started considering that some of them were chicken burgers, right? Instead, let's think like that. Out of the 80 burgers, maximum are egg chicken burgers, and let's take the remaining value as low as possible. That is, let me consider the remaining ones sold to be veg burgers. That gives me the lowest price, right? Because I have to reduce as less as possible. Maximum of them should be egg chicken burgers. So if we think that way, to maximize the total number of egg chicken burgers sold, we have to consider selling a few of the lower priced burgers too. And the lowest priced burger is a veg burger, right? So let's consider out of the 80 burgers sold, X of them were egg chicken burgers and Y of them were veg burgers. If that is the scenario, I know at least 80 burgers were sold, so X plus Y has to be greater than or equal to 80. Let's consider that to be the first inequality. And since I'm considering egg chicken burgers, each of them costs 120. So 120x plus 40y, that has to be the total amount of money earned. That has to be at most 8200. So that's less than or equal to 8200. We can simplify it and get 3x plus y is less than or equal to 205. That's the second inequality. Combining both of them, we get something like this. So y has to be something which lies between 80 minus x and 205 minus 3x. What would be the basic requirement? The basic requirement would be 80 minus x at least has to be less than or equal to 205 minus 3x. That's the bare minimum requirement. I know that 80 minus x should not be greater than 205 minus 3x. That doesn't go with the mathematical inequality, right? Considering the best case scenario, let's say both of them are equal. If both of them are equal, we get 2x is equal to this one. So x equal to 62.5. If x is 62.5, obviously the value of x cannot be 62.5. That represents number of burgers sold. So obviously we'll start thinking about, okay, why don't we consider x is equal to 63, x is equal to 62, both these values, and check whether I can make 80 minus x less than or equal to 205 minus 3x. What if x is equal to 63? In that case, on the left hand side of y, I'll have 80 minus x, that is 17. And on the right hand side, I have 205 minus 3x. 3x is 3 times 63, that's 189. 189 subtracted from 205, that gives me 11 plus 5, that is 16. So we have something like this, which is not possible, right? Because the bare minimum requirement is whatever is there on the left hand side of y, that has to be at least less than or equal to whatever is there on the right hand side. Otherwise, the mathematical inequality doesn't fit in. So 63 cannot be the possible value. The other value that we thought of was 62. So if I consider x is equal to 62, then on the left hand side of y, I have 80 minus 62, that is 18, agreed. On the right hand side of y, I have 205 minus 62 times 3, that's 186. So 14 plus 5, 19. That is exactly what we want. We want whatever is there on the left hand side of y to be less than or equal to whatever is there on the right hand side of y. And this is the first position where we achieve that. That means I cannot go above x is equal to 62. That's not possible. So the maximum possible value of x is 62, which means the maximum number of egg chicken burgers that must be sold on that particular day must be 62, which is option B. So rest of them have to be veg burgers in that case, right? Moving on to the next question. On a particular day, for every veg burger that was sold, exactly 2 egg burgers were sold. And for every egg burger that was sold, exactly 2 chicken burgers were sold. Okay, so here they're talking about ratio. So if I distribute the entire thing in a table, for every veg burger, there are 2 egg burgers sold. And for every egg burger, there are 2 chicken burgers sold. So overall, I can figure out the ratio very well. So it has to be 1:2:4. That means I can consider the total number of veg burgers sold are K, egg burgers sold are 2K, and chicken burgers sold are 4K. Let's assume these are the values. Now they're saying if the total amount collected from the sale of the burgers was 43,000. So total amount collected, because K veg burgers were sold, so 40K will be the revenue generated. 2K egg burgers were sold, So 70 times 2k, 140k will be the total revenue generated from egg burgers. And 4k chicken burgers were sold. So 100 times 4k, that is 400k, will be the total amount collected from chicken burgers. This entire total has to be less than or equal to 43,000. Why are we saying less than or equal to 43,000? That's because we do not know whether egg chicken burgers were sold or not. We have absolutely no information about it. They are saying that at least one veg burger was definitely sold on that day. So it's not possible that K becomes 0. That is not possible. Okay. Then the minimum number of egg chicken burgers that must have been sold. So the last one, egg chicken burgers, I have to minimize their number. So from this inequality, we can say 380k is less than equal to 43,000, which means k is less than equal to 113. That's the closest integer we could reach. 43,000 when divided by 380, that's the closest integer we could get. So k can be 113 or 112 or 111 or something lower. We have no idea. So we have to keep on checking by placing each and every value, right? So if I consider k equal to 113, then 43,000 minus 380 into 113, that will be the total amount collected by selling egg chicken burgers, where I know that the price of each egg chicken burger is 120 rupees. So whatever is the difference, that difference has to be a multiple of 120, right? So we just have to check when do we get the first multiple of 120 by subtracting each value. So 43,000 minus this, that gives us 43,000 minus 42940, that's 60. But 60 is not divisible by 120, not possible. So we have to check the next one. 43,000 minus 380 times 112. That gives me 43,000 minus 42560, which is equal to 440. If you do not want to perform this calculation again and again, what you can do is, I know that I'm subtracting multiples of 380 from 43,000, right? And every time there is a drop in one multiple. So I took 380 into 113, next time 380 into 112, next time 380 into 111, and so on. So there is a drop of 380 every time. So in the final value that we started with, we had a 60. Why don't I just keep on adding 380 with the final value? That will keep on giving me the values, right? And wherever I find there is a multiple of 120, I have to stop there. That actually saves a lot of time from the calculation, right? So the next one becomes 820. That's also not possible. So 60 plus 380, that's 440. 440 plus 380, that's 820. 820 plus 380, that's 1200. That's the first time we encounter a multiple of 120, right? Now, so how many of the chicken burgers can you accommodate there in 1200 rupees? Obviously 10 of them. So 10 has to be the least number of egg chicken burgers that must have been sold on that particular day, which is option A. So you can understand, right? Each and every question has got a master logic in it. Once you are able to decipher that logic, then and only then will you be able to solve them. Otherwise, without knowing the logic, just by calculation, it's next to impossible, right? Moving on to the last question of the set. If on a particular day, an equal amount of money was collected by selling each of the type of burgers. Okay, so the total amount collected by selling each type of burger is same. Okay, then what is the minimum total number of burgers that must have been sold that day? So minimum total number of burgers, that's what we have to calculate. So my first question is, how many burgers did I sell? They said that the total amount of money that I collected by selling each burger was equal. So if I know that a veg burger costs 40 rupees per piece, then I have to know how many burgers I sold. Multiplying them, I'll get the total sales value, which is supposed to be equal for everybody. So why don't I start by this, that let's say number of veg burgers sold is A, egg burgers B, chicken burgers C, and egg chicken burgers D. Let's consider these to be the total number of burgers sold, which means 40 times A, 70 times B, 100 times C, and 120 times D. They must be equal. That's basic ratio, proportion, and variation, remember? Right, so how do we solve these questions? What do? We equalize them to the LCM of 40, 70, 100, and 120. Simple. Right, it actually has to be the LCM into K. That will be the more general process. But here we are dealing with the minimum total number of burgers, right? So we'll directly consider the LCM to be the total value, the total sales by selling all these four types of burgers. How much is the LCM of 40, 70, 100, and 120? The LCM is 4200, right? So we'll consider that the total amount of money that could be generated is 4200. That is the minimum we can reach. And they did not ask for this. They asked for the total number of burgers that must have been sold. So if 4200 is the total amount of money that I got by selling A veg burgers, then how many veg burgers am I talking about? So it has to be 4200 divided by 40. That's 105. Similarly, 4200 divided by 70. That will give me the total number of egg burgers sold. 4200 divided by 120. That's 4200 divided by 100. That gives me 42 as the total number of chicken burgers. And 4200 by 120, that's 35. That's the total number of egg chicken burgers sold. They want us to figure out the summation of all the values. So adding them up, 105 plus 60 plus 42 plus 35, we get a total of 242. That's option D, which means at least 242 burgers must have been sold. So this is how generally we solve a logical set, and please keep this in mind. It's not mandatory that a logical set has to be in the tabular format only. Data can be given to you in any format they want. So what you have to do is, whether it be a tabular chart, a bar chart, line chart, pie chart, whatever be it, you have to catch hold of that logic. If you are not able to catch hold of that logic in the examination hall under tremendous pressure, it's always advisable you skip and move on. You'll definitely get easier questions than this, right? So this set was one of the most difficult, you might say. They won't cross this difficulty for sure. It's difficult to reach this difficulty also, and crossing this difficulty in a campus recruitment test is next to impossible, right? So this is the highest level of difficulty that we have already solved. So in this video, we have solved a difficult set of tabular charts. In the next video, we'll start with our module on bar charts. We have completed our module on tabular charts. So next will be bar charts. Then we'll continue with line charts, pie charts, etc. Hey there. In the previous video, we have gone through the introduction to tabular charts, where I have told you the various points which you have to remember before delving into data interpretation as a whole. And we have solved a couple of questions as well, where I have shown you how approximations are necessary, how we should not be performing each and every calculation whichever is given in the set. We should be focusing on only particularly the question, particularly the calculation that has been asked in the question only, right? So these are some of the things which we have seen in the previous video. In this video, we'll start solving a proper set, a proper tabular chart set. I have termed it easy, and I have assumed that the people who will be watching this video, you are at par with percentages. So you have done questions on percentages. You know the entire concept, how to calculate percentages. So assuming that, I'm considering this one to be easy, right? So let's go through the set properly. So they are talking about 5 NGOs, A, B, C, D, and E, who started operating from the year 2010. Okay. The table below gives the percentage growths in the number of blood donation camps that each of them could successfully organize in the given period of time. Right? So the table consists only of percentage values. Now, what are these percentage values? These are the percentage growths in the number of blood donation camps when I compare it with the previous year. So let's say if I talk about the NGO A, look at the year gaps. The year gaps are not directly like 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's not like that. They have always given a year gap of 2 years. So 2010 to 12, 12 to 14, 14 to 16, 16 to 18, because they have marked the percentage values there. Right, so from 2010 to 12, there has been a growth of 10% when compared with the previous year. 2012 to 14, there has been a growth of 10% when compared to the previous year. So let's say we can say like this: A has got a 10% growth from 2010 to 2012. From 12 to 14, A has got a percentage growth of 10. From 14 to 16, 2014 to 2016, A has got a percentage increase of 30%. And from 2016 to 2018, the percentage growth has been 40. So that's how we can read the entire table. Except this, we don't have any other information that we can gather from the table. We directly have to move to the questions. Now, obviously, we should not do it like, okay, let's assume in 2010, let's assume A to be having a total value of, let's say, 100A, B having a total value of 100B, C having a total value of 100C, and let's figure out all the values accordingly. Do not do that. There are 5 questions given in this entire set. We'll be calculating only the information which is mandatory to solve these 5 questions. That's it. We don't want to calculate anything extra, right? In some of the questions, I'll also show you how can you make the calculations a bit easier. So I'll solve them in both ways, one the usual way and the one and the other way as well, right? So let's start with the first one. The first one says the number of blood donation camps organized by which NGO has increased by the highest percentage from 2012 to 2018. 2012 to 2018, mind it. So they are not interested in the first column. What they want to know is the number of blood donation camps organized by which NGO. So the options have A, B, C, and D. So it doesn't make any sense to calculate it for E. So forget about E completely, right? So I'm talking only about A, B, C, and D, and which are the values I should be aiming for. They want the values only from 2012 to 2018, which means if I consider NGO A, in case of A, there has to be a 10% increment from 12 to 14, a 30% increment from 14 to 16, and a 40% increment from 16 to 18. Now, think about it. What are they actually asking for, and what is the task? What do we need to do? They are asking that which NGO has got the highest percentage increase. So let's say A. Initially, if I consider in the beginning of 2012, A has a total value of 1000. By the end of 2014, that has increased by 10%, so 1100. From 2014 to 2016, the value has further increased by 30% upon 1100. It's like compound interest. Then again, from 2016 to 18 on, whatever value we arrive at from 14 to 16, upon that value there has to be a 40% increase, and we have to perform this entire calculation for A, B, C, and D. If you look at it in a normal way, it seems like it's not feasible. It's not feasible within the given amount of time. Definitely not in an exam, right?
But if you interpret the data properly, you not only calculate, you interpret it properly, then you start visualizing the entire data. They're not asking me to calculate the exact value. They're asking me to compare. They're asking me to compare between A, B, C, and D. Let me look at the percentage values, percentage increments for A. They are 10%, 30%, and 40%. Successively, they have increased by these three percentage values. What about B? B's values have increased by 20%, 25%, and 30% successively. C's values have increased by 20%, 30%, and 50% successively. D's values have increased by 10%, 10%, and 25% respectively. Okay. Now, I have to figure out for which of these NGOs the overall percentage increment has been the highest. That's what I'm supposed to calculate. Looking at the first column of percentages, which one is the highest? I can see I have a 20 here, I have a 20 here. These two are the higher percentage values. What about the second column? Which one is the highest? I can see 30% coming up twice. Looking at the third column, which one is the highest? There's only 50% there. Can't we see through this? That in case of NGOC, every time the percentage increment has been the highest. Every time. Right? For every 2-year period, I can see that company C has come out with the higher percentage increment in comparison to everybody else. So it's quite obvious that company C will have the highest percentage increment over the given period of time in comparison to A, B, and D. We don't have to perform any calculations anywhere at all. So this is the visualization that I was talking about in the previous video also. That it's not only about calculation, it's not only about plus, minus, into, and divide. It's about looking at the values and understanding what exactly needs to be done. What do I have to do with these values so that whatever they're asking for comes out, but comes out in a smooth fashion. Right? That doesn't mean the question won't have any calculations at all. There might be a few questions where definitely there will be calculations. Right? So if time permits, then maybe we'll be able to solve those. But if time doesn't permit, we have to skip those and answer only those questions which are less time consuming and can be done without much calculation, without much hassle. Moving on to the next question. If C organized, now there is a if. Generally, whenever there is an if given, that means there is extra information given which is not given in the actual set. So if C organized 780 blood donation camps in 2016, we know that in the entire set, in the actual information, nowhere have they mentioned about any particular value. They just mentioned about percentage values. That's why in this question they have separately talked about a particular value. If C organized 780 blood donation camps in 2016, then how many blood donation camps were organized by C in 2012? So, what do we know about C? What do we know about the percentage increments in C? From 2012 to 2016, 12 to 14, that has increased by 20%, 14 to 16, that has increased by 30%. So this is the only data I am interested in. I'm not interested in any other data at all. Now they said that after these two percentage increments, the value of C has become 780. So which one was the value earlier on? A simple percentage problem, that there's a particular value, you increase it by 20%, then you further increase it by 30%, it becomes 780. So which value did you start from? That's it. That's the question, right? So what we can do is, if we know this, that P into 1 plus 10 by 100, so basically when P is increased by 10%, it's the same as multiplying the value of P by 1.1. That's called the multiplying factor. If we know this, then we know very well that whatever was the value of C in 2012, If it's increased by 20% and 30% successively, that means it must have multiplied by 1.2 and 1.3. After multiplying, it became 780. Right? So we just have to figure out the value of C 2012 from this one, nothing else. So C 2012 becomes 780, 1.2 and 1.3. We remove the decimals. They are in the denominators 12 and 13. So 10 and 10 in the numerators. 13 can directly cancel out 780 60 times. 12 can cancel out 65 times. So 5 into 10 into 10. That gives us the value of C 2012 as 500. It's as easy as that. Right? You can even use successive percentage value also if you want. Like there is a particular value which successively increased by 20 and 30. So if you remember the formula, A plus B plus AB by 100, you can use that also, whichever you are comfortable with. But here, because I saw 780, which is a multiple of 13, and I saw there is a 30% increase, that's why I could not restrict myself from the multiplying factor, because I know that'll, cancel out the value easily. So in this case, the answer has to be option B. It's a very easy question. Okay. What about the next one? Had D started operating in 2010 with a total of 500 blood donation camps. So this was the total value which was missing in the actual data. They have introduced it in this question. Okay. So in 2010, let's say D started operating having 500 blood donation camps. Then how many camps could it have organized by the end of 2016? So which is the data they are interested in? D started in 2010, ended in 2016. So 10 to 12, 12 to 14, 14 to 16. These are the three pieces of information in the table that we are interested about. Right? So the value of D has to be first increased by 20%, then further by 10%, then further by 10%. That's what overall I have to do. Right? So D in 2016 will be whatever is the value of D in 2010 into, we just saw in the previous problem, that multiplying factor. So if I'm increasing by 20%, I'm multiplying by 1.2. Increasing by 10%, I'm multiplying by 1.1. So I've done that twice. Right? So the value of D in 2010, since it has already started with 500 blood donation camps, we start by writing 500 into 1.2, 1.1, 1.1. Now 500 times 1.2, that gives us 600. And we have 1.1, 1.1. If you have gone through the Vedic math video, there I have explained properly how to multiply by 11 quickly in one line. You can use that also here. Because 600 into 1.1 into 1.1, that will be 660 into 1.1. That is 66 times 11. So multiplying by 11, that makes it 726, which is option D. That's one way of solving this entire problem using multiplying factor. Now, if I do not use multiplying factor here, if I solve it in a different way, what can I do? We know that when a particular value increases by 20% and then further increases by 10%, we can use the formula A plus B plus AB by 100, right? So if the value first increases by A% and then by B%, overall the increase will be A plus B plus AB by 100%. We know this from successive percentage change in percentages. If we apply it here, in case of D, initially there was an increase of 20%, then 10%, then further by 10%. Now we cannot apply this formula on three values. We have to take two at a time. So what we do is we take the initial 20 and 10 and we figure out that the successive of 20 and 10 is 32%. That will be the increment of D from 2010 to 2014. Now again 10% turns up. So another successive 32 plus 10 plus 32 into 10 upon 100, that gives us a total of 45.2%. That means D, when it started with 500, it has to increase by 45.2%. Now the question is, how do we calculate this value? Right. What we can do is we can simply multiply 45.2 and 500. That will also tell us the story. Or if we do not want to do that, like you can refer to the Vedic math video where I've showed you how to multiply quickly by 5. That will give you a very, very quick answer. That's one way. Or if you want a general way, like it's not mandatory that every time it has to be 500. It's not mandatory every time it has to be 45.2%. So how do I calculate this percentage value quickly? You don't have to calculate the entire thing point by point, like to the exact value. You don't know. You don't need that. Why? See, you have a 500. You have a 45.2%. How much is 40% of 500? That's 200. So I can already see the value has to increase by 200, that's for sure, which tells us option C cannot be the answer. In option C, the increase has only been 196. So that's opted out. Fair enough. Now I'm left with 5.2% more. How much is 5% of 500? That's 25. So the increase has to be 200, then 25, then a little bit. 200 plus 25, that already makes the value reach 725, and it's a bit slightly more than that. Obviously, it has to be option D, which is 726. So you can actually solve this entire thing orally. All you need to do is you have to figure out how much is the successive percentage change from the three values given. Once you know that, it's an oral calculation. We don't need pen and paper to solve it. Right? Next, let's move to question number 6. If the number of blood donation camps organized by all the given NGOs in 2010 were equal, lovely. So they are considering every value to be equal in 2010. Then what is the percentage increase in the total number of blood donation camps organized by all the given NGOs by the end of 2016? Oh my God. This is definitely calculation intensive, because what they're asking is you consider every NGO to have a particular value, equal value in 2010. Let's say say we consider that value to be 1000. Then from 10 to 12, A has to increase by 10%. 12 to 14, another 10%, 14 to 16, another 30%. So we figure out the successive percentage change from 10 to 16, apply that to 1000 and get to a final value. That's only for A. We have to do this entire thing for all the 5 companies. So in 2010, we'll have a total value for all the 5 companies. Similarly, in 2016, we'll have a total value of all the 5 companies. And then we have to figure out how much is the percentage increase. So this definitely will take some time, right? You have to accept it. In the examination, if you have this sort of a problem, definitely do not solve it on that point. Move out and solve other problems if you have easier ones. Now, if you see that there are no other easier ones, then definitely you have to come back to this. But I'm 100% sure there will be more easier ones than this. So let's see how to solve this problem. So A, we initially calculate the percentage, the successive percentage from 2010 to 12, 12 to 14. That's 10 and 10. So 10 plus 10 plus 10 into 10 upon 100, that gives us 21%. Then 21% successive with 30, that gives us 57.3%. So for A, the percentage increment from 2010 to 16 is 57.3%. What about B? We apply the same procedure with B, 5, 20 and 25. Okay, remember one thing. if you increase a particular value, if you change a particular value by a certain percentage and successively change it with another percentage, like for example, in case of B, first it increased by 5%, then 20%, then 25%. There is absolutely no problem if you change the sequence of the values, because anyhow, see what you are doing by increasing the percentages is you are multiplying a multiplying factor. If you are increasing by 5%, you are multiplying by 1.05. If you are increasing by 20%, you are multiplying by 1.2. If you are increasing by 25%, you are multiplying by 1.25. So if they are multiplying, how does it matter which number is multiplied first, which one is multiplied last? Absolutely doesn't matter. Right? So remember this. This is also a very cool thing, which like if I have 3-4 successive percentage changes, you can perform any one of them in any particular sequence and still finally they'll give you the same answer. So here what we did is we took 20 and 25 first. Anyway, we had to take it later on. So 20 and 25 gave us 50%. That's the reason why we took it first, right? Then we have 50 and 5 overall giving us 57.5%. So A and B are almost similar in percentage increments. Then we go for C. In case of C, there is a 10, 20, 30. So 10 and 20 gives a successive of 32. Then 32 and 30 gives a successive of 71.6% overall. Next, in case of D, I won't calculate it. Why? Because we just calculated this in the previous question and got the value to be 45.2%. Remember, this is exactly what I was talking about. You have to remember what all calculations you have already done in the previous questions. You cannot repeat those. You have to save that much of time. Then in case of E, again, another observation. Look at the values of C and look at the values of E. They are exactly similar. I just now told you that the sequence doesn't matter. So 10, 20, 30 or 30, 20, 10, the sequence absolutely doesn't matter. So whatever is the percentage increment for C, it has to be the same for E as well. At least we saved the time to calculate two of them, right? So now we have A changed from 1000 to 1573, B changed from 1000 to 1575, C 1000 to 1716, D 1000 to 1452, E 1000 to 1716. If I add all of them up, I get the total value in 2010 to be 5000. And total value in 2016 will exactly increase by 3032, making it 8032. This is the percentage value they are asking for, right? Now I can already see through the percentage value. Why? Because on 5000, if you increase it by 60%, then the increase will be 3000, and this value is slightly higher than 60%. So option B has to be the answer. I can already see through that, right? So how we can calculate is 3032 upon 5000. In this case, multiplying by 100 is definitely advantageous. Why? Look at the denominator. The denominator has 5000. Definitely can be cancelled out using 100, right? So if we do that, we get 60.64%, or you can simply say 5000 is the base value. The increase is more than 3000. So definitely the increase has to be more than 60%. How much more? It's very small, because it's only 32 more in comparison to 5000. That's why it's slightly higher than 60, and it cannot be more than 65. That's why it cannot be option C. It has to be option B. So option B is the answer here, right? Okay, so this was a bit lengthy. The last question says, had B and C started operating in 2014? So they are interested only in B and C. Had they started operating in 2014 with number of blood donation camps in the ratio 1:2? Okay. So the moment they said started operating in 2014 means they must be interested in the last two values only, 14 to 16, 16 to 18 only. And they have given me the ratio in which I can get the number that I have to start with, right? By the end of 2018, the total number of camps of C will be how much percentage more than those of B. So in case of B, I can see the overall percentage increment, again successive, that's 62.5%. For C, it's 30 and 50, so overall turns out to be 95%. Since the ratio is given as 1:2, why don't we consider 1000 as the value for B? That has increased by 62.5%, so overall it's 1625. For C, I have to start with 2000. The increase is 95%. So 3900 has to be the value. So so they're asking the total number of camps of C will be how much percentage more than those of B. So 3900 is how much percentage more than 1625. That's what they're asking. So 1625, 3900 is 2275 more. So I have to calculate 2275 makes what percentage of 1625. I have a multiple of 25 in the denominator. I have a multiple of 25 in the numerator, and I have 100 multiplied with it. Definitely, I don't need the 10% wala rule here. I'll directly cancel out. Cancelling out, I get 7 upon 5 into 100. That's 140%, which is option C. But I don't think I personally will be solving it this way. Right, how would I solve here? Now, this is where it's very important for you to understand when to switch and which method should be applied when, so that the calculation becomes easier. Every method has got its advantages and disadvantages. There is no one particular way in which one method can be used. Right? So here we have used successive percentage. In the previous one, we saw that successive percentage actually helped us out. Here, successive percentage has actually made your calculation longer. I'll show you how. So in case of B and C, let's figure out the ratio of C and B. In case of B, we started with the value 1000. And in case of C, we have to start with double of it, so 2 times 1000. What happened with B? In case of B, multiplying factors were 1.25 and 1.3. Why? Because there was a 25% and 30% increment successively. What happened with C? There was an increase of 30% and 50%, so 1.3 and 1.5 were multiplied. You can see 1.3 and 1000 getting cancelled out. We'll only be left with 3 upon 1.25, which taken into fractions becomes 12 upon 5, which means the final value of C can be considered as 12, the final value of B can be considered as 5, so the entire question trickles down to 12 is how much percentage more than 5. That's it. So the percentage requirement has to be 12 minus 5 upon 5 into 100. That's 7 by 5 into 100. That's 140%. That saves a lot of hassle. Right. In that case, also the answer has to be option C. But it's not important what's the answer. What's important is which process you are using to solve this entire question. That's the most important part. So while solving a data interpretation question back at home while practicing, always question yourself. Am I taking way too much amount of time to solve this problem? If yes, let me try and figure out some other way. Wherever you find that you are taking too much of time, too much of calculations, there must be something hidden inside which maybe you could not locate, because of which it's taking so much of time. Try to find that out. Try to find that out. The more you keep on trying to find that out, the more ways will turn up. More unorthodox ways will turn up. And that's what actually will save the time in the examination hall, which you can apply to solve other easier questions. right? So in this video, we have gone through a tabular chart set. This was an easy one where the amount of calculation, amount of logic, both were quite low. Only percentage comparisons were there. In the upcoming video, we'll be going through the second set based on tabular chart, which will be a calculation intensive set. And I'll show you how to reduce the amount of calculation, how to perform calculations quickly, how to use the options properly, how to eliminate from the options. So I'll show you all of that in the upcoming video. Hey there. In this video, we'll be starting our module on data interpretation, with the first topic being tabular charts, right? So this is generally how tabular charts look like. This is the data of rainfall by districts of 2014-15 as done by the government of India. You have the source also down there, which shows 7 different districts, possibly of Tamil Nadu: Chennai, Kanchipuram, Tiruvallur, Kadalur, Villupuram, Vellore, and Tiruvannamalai, right? And time-wise, in the entire year, the amount of rainfall that occurred. So this is how generally a tabular chart is represented. And whatever are the questions, those questions will always be pertaining to the data given here, right? But remember one thing, that nobody wants a calculator. Everybody wants somebody who can interpret the data properly. So data interpretation never means that you have to keep on calculating and then find out the answer. That's not always mandatory. Yes, you have to perform some calculations, definitely. That's the reason why they do not give you a calculator, right? Because they do not completely want a calculator only. They want a human interpretation, right? So before we delve into the questions and calculations and everything, let me tell you particularly a few points which you have to remember before getting into data interpretation in detail. The first thing is, addition and subtraction of values should be done really quickly. Now, generally we have a tendency of adding numbers starting from the right hand side, taking one digit at a time. We have to change that, right? We have to start adding 2 digits at a time and make the entire addition faster, right? I'll show you an example. Say you have a 4-digit number 3267, which needs to be added to 4859 and 2174. We have to write down the entire summation. Look at the process carefully, where we start using now 2 digits from the right hand side instead of 1 digit. So initially I'll take 74, I'll add 9 with it, that's 83, plus 50, that's 133, plus 7, that's 140, plus 60, that gives me 200. So I'll put a 00 here and 2 will be carried forward. I'll repeat the same thing again. 21 plus 8, 29, plus 40, that's 69, plus 2, 71, plus 30, 101, plus 2, that was carried forward, so 103. So 10300, that has to be the summation of all these 3 numbers, right? So initially this process might look a bit scary initially when you are learning it for the first time, but the moment you keep on practicing again and again, if you keep on using this method again and again, you'll be super fast in addition of numbers. And it doesn't even depend upon how many numbers they give. You can always keep on adding them up, right? So that's about addition. About subtraction, there is something which you'll always find in shopkeepers. Shopkeepers usually never subtract. What they do is, they start with the lower value and they keep on adding numbers to reach the higher value. So instead of subtracting, they always keep on adding values to the lower value. Say you have made a 37 rupees bill and you have paid the shopkeeper 100. He'll never do it like 100 minus 37. He'll never do that. First of all, he'll return 3, that's 40. Then he'll return 10, that's 50. And then he'll return you 50. So 50 plus 10 plus 3, he'll say 63 is the change which I'm paying back to you. So that's how every shopkeeper keeps on calculating. Why? Because addition is easier. Addition is easier than subtraction. Not exactly easier. Addition, while adding numbers, there are high chances that you won't commit a mistake, a silly mistake. But while subtraction, you might, right? So we'll see that sort of a process here. Let's say 748, I have to subtract 565 from that number. What we have to do is, we are dealing with 3-digit numbers here. If there are 2-digit numbers, we'll be looking for the nearest multiple of 100. But because we are dealing with 3-digit numbers here, we will be looking for the nearest multiple of 1000, right? So 748, beg your pardon, not 1000. We are dealing with 3-digit numbers, so we'll be looking for the nearest multiple of 100. Had we used 2-digit numbers, we would have looked for the nearest multiple of 10, right? For 4-digit numbers, we would have looked for the nearest multiple of 1000. So here, between 565 and 748, after 565, the next multiple of 100 that you can look for, that's 600. So 600 to 748, it's a very easy calculation. The total is 148. 600 to 748, the total is 148. And 565 to 600, the value is 35. All I need to do is add these two numbers. That will be the difference between the two numbers they're talking about. So 148 plus 35, that's 170 plus 13, 183. That will be the difference between 748 and 565. Right? That's how every shopkeeper does the calculation, and that's why shopkeepers are so fast, right? Okay, so addition and subtraction, we have to keep one thing in our mind. Addition has to be done by taking 2 digits at a time from the right hand side. Subtraction will never subtract. What we'll do is we'll go from the lower value to the higher value. We'll add values. Okay, the next point to be remembered, average of numbers. Now, generally for lower values, average of numbers is basically adding the numbers and dividing by how many numbers are there, right? Say, for example, if we have these 5 values, they're not lower values, but usually how do we calculate the average? We add up everything and divide by 5. We perform the summation. We have just learned how to add up these numbers by taking 2 digits at a time from the right hand side. We add these numbers up, we divide by 5, and we get 2474 as the average. That's how we usually do. The only problem is this addition takes time. And let's say if there are more values, the addition will take further time. So in case of figuring out averages, what we can do is, let's write down all the numbers. Now, let's select one of them as the average. Let's assume one of them as the average. And mind you, it's not mandatory that that assumed average has to be one of these numbers only. You can actually consider any number which is closer to all these 5 as the average. That will also do, right? But because we want to remember clearly, that's why we generally consider any one of them. What we try is, we try to approximate and see that, okay, which one can be, let's say, at the middle. If I arrange all of them in ascending order, which one will possibly be in the middle, right? So we consider that sort of a value, a closer value. So let's say we can consider 2468, we can consider 2483 also. Those two seem to be the middle values. So for the time being, let's say we consider 2483 as the assumed average. Now, from the assumed average, we'll try to find out the deviation of each and every other value. the deviation, like 2468. 2468 is 15 less than 2483. That's why we have written a minus 15 there. 2483 being the assumed average, there is no deviation from 2483. So there is a 0. 2423, that's lower than 2483. How much lower? It's 60 lower, so minus 60. 2502 is a bit higher than 2483. Again, we won't subtract. From 2483 to 2500, the gap is 17 and 2 extra. So I'll say plus 19. So everywhere, most of the times what we should try to do is go from the lower value to the higher value. That makes the subtraction easier. 2483 to 2494, that's easy. That's plus 11. So overall, how much is the deviation that I got? I got the deviation to be minus 45. Now that's the deviation over 5 values. So what is the average deviation per value? There are 5 values here. So minus 45 upon 5, that is minus 9, which means whatever average we had assumed, that is actually 9 higher than the actual average. So the actual average has to be 2483 minus 9, which is 2474. So select any one of the numbers, assume that to be the average, find out the deviation, what is the overall deviation, divide that by number of terms, that will give you the average deviation per term, subtract or add whatever is the value that turns up, do that with the assumed average, that will give you the actual average of all the values, right? So that way we can reduce our calculation efforts. As you can see, the addition only required 2-digit numbers, that to 4 of them, one of them is 0, right? So the numbers become smaller, the overall hassle becomes quite smooth. So that's the second point which I want each and every one of you to remember. The third point, this is the most important thing in data interpretation: calculating complex percentage values quickly, right? If you have already gone through the videos of percentage profit and loss, there you must have seen how we calculate percentages in a different way by taking ratio, not like how we used to do back when we were in class 8, 9, 10. So we have a separate, we have a completely different type of method now to calculate percentages. Now the only thing is, calculating percentages when the values are low, that's fine. That's completely fine. I can understand. But let's say there is a situation like this. 1607 makes how much percentage of 7652? Now, obviously in DI, the question won't be placed like this. The question will possibly be, let's say there's a company XYZ, which has got its sales values as 1607 in, say, 2003. And its overall sales values for the entire period is 7652. So its sales values of 2003 makes how much percentage of its total sales values over the given period of time. So this is basically the question, right? Just put in words, nothing else. So what they want is 1607, that makes how much percentage of 7652. And let's say these are the options given. Look at the options. Remember one thing, in this kind of a question, they'll never give you a none of these. Why? Because each and every value is approximated. It's not the actual value, right? So if it's not the actual value, putting a none of these there will always be correct. Let's say, for example, if in this question 23.11% is the correct answer, somebody can say no, 23.112 percentage, that's the correct answer. That's not given in the options, so I'll go for none of these. That's quite possible. And it's true. It's not even false, right? So because they do not want those kind of controversies, so they'll hardly put a none of these in these kinds of questions, where particularly the values are like this, right? Now the question is, how do we calculate such kind of percentages? We'll do exactly what a shopkeeper does. What we see in the vegetable market, we'll do exactly that sort of a calculation, right? Say you have a situation where you went to buy chicken and you find that, okay, 1 kg of chicken costs, say, rupees 240, right? Now, you want only 350 grams of chicken. So you asked the guy that, okay, sir, I want only 350 grams. So how much will be the cost? Now, generally what you will do is you will keep on calculating using the unitary method. That, okay, 1000 grams, that costs 240. So 350 grams will cost 240 by 1000 into 350. You'll keep on multiplying all of them. By that time, the chicken wala, he'll cut the chicken into pieces, he'll put them in the bag, and he'll tell you the entire price. And if at all there is any discount that he's offering, he'll allow that entire discount and tell you that, okay, you are liable to pay this much. How does he do that so fast? Right? Almost everybody in the vegetable market, if a shopkeeper, if you start calculating with him, almost everybody does the calculations really fast. How do they do that? Because each and every one of them, they apply the rule of 10%. I'll tell you what is the rule of 10%. Here in this case, we have to calculate 1607 makes what percentage of 7652. So we are dealing with the ratio 1607 upon 7652. Forget about into 100, right? We don't need the into 100 here. Into 100 will be applied only when the denominator is something with which 100 has something common that can be simplified. Say a multiple of 25, a multiple of 50, 100, 150, let's say 200, 225, etc. So if we have those sorts of numbers in the denominator which can be simplified with 100 or a factor of 100, then we'll multiply 100. Otherwise, we'll completely ignore 100. We'll just find out the percentage equivalent of this ratio, nothing else, right? Now, the thing about 10% that I was telling you is 10% of a value moves the decimal by one place to the left. What the chicken wala has done is he knows that 1000 grams costs rupees 240. So 100 grams will be costing rupees 24. That's the 10% wala rule. So if 100 grams costs rupees 24, then 300 grams, that will be costing rupees 72. And if 100 grams is 24, then 50 grams is 12. So 350 grams will be 24 times 3, that's 72, plus 12, that's 84 rupees. He'll possibly give you a discount of 4 rupees and say 80 rupees is the total value. Right? That's how everybody in the shop, everybody calculates like this. So we just have to remember 10% of a value moves the decimal one place to the left. Now, if you further calculate 1%, that will further move to the left, right? So, if I have a 7652 in the denominator and I have to calculate 1607 makes how much percentage of it, first thing is 765, that makes 10% of the value. It's not actually 765, it's 765.2 to be exact. That's 10% of the value. But 0.2 in comparison to 7652 is quite less. So we can approximate this much, right? We can ignore this much, not an issue. So 765, let's consider that to be 10%. So if I wanted to calculate 1%, I would have said 76.52. 0.1%, that's 7.652. So as I keep on increasing the decimals in percentages, the actual decimal keeps on moving towards the left hand side. That is the rule. That is the golden rule, right? Now I know that 10% of the value is 765 and they're asking 1607 is how much percentage. So some sort of calculation, some sort of imaginary calculation hovers around in our head saying that I have a value in the 1600s in the numerator, and I know that 10% is 765. So I'm pretty sure that it's more than double, right? 765, if I double it, I'll have 1500s. I'll have the value in the 1500s. But the actual value is 1607. So definitely it's more than 20%. So 1607, I can write it as 765 taken twice. That is 1400 plus 130. That's 1530 plus 77. So definitely the answer has to be more than 20%, which tells me that option C cannot be our answer. So that is what the examiner wants to test, whether the student is able to eliminate the options properly and come to the actual answer without actually calculating the value. That's the agenda. Now I'm pretty sure that 765 into 2, that's 1530, I have already made 20% of the value, right? Now I'm bothered about the remaining 77. 77 will make how much percentage of 7652? Now again, in comparison to 10%, 77 is quite low because 10% is 765 and the value is 77. So that's quite low. So let's drop down to one step below. Let's move to 1%. If the value is 7652, 1% has to be 76.52, which tells me that this 77% is slightly higher than 1%. It's almost 1%, but it's slightly higher, which means the total value given in the numerator has to be 21% and just more than 21%. That's when we have to move to the options and eliminate option A and option D and mark 21.01% option B as the answer in this case. This entire process is extremely important in case of data interpretation, be it in tabular charts, bar graph, line graph, whatever be it, whatever be the topic, whatever be the type of data representation, doesn't matter. This entire percentage calculation is the crux of data interpretation calculations, right? So we have already understood about 3 points: addition and subtraction being the first one, average being the second one, percentage, complex percentage values being the third one. Now there are a few generic points which I want every one of you to remember properly. The first point is, do not make a habit of using a calculator for simple or complex calculations, because in the examination you won't have a calculator. In most of the aptitude tests you don't find a calculator, but you definitely find calculation intensive DI sets, right? So stop using calculator completely. Do not get used to it. Second one is, go through the questions before making unnecessary calculations. So it's not like there is some data given to me, let me write down the entire data in some format, or maybe from this entire data what all things I can interpret, let me write all of them down, then I'll move to the questions and answer. Do not do that. That's a waste of time. Whatever is given in the question, exactly that much of data has to be calculated, not more than that. Remember this. The time that you are using to calculate all those values, that's very, very precious, right? So calculate only that much part which is absolutely mandatory. Otherwise, do not. Third one, this is one of the most common mistakes which I've seen in students all throughout the years. They keep on performing the same calculation multiple number of times. Why? Because they don't even remember where did they make the previous calculation. They are in so much of hurry that they perform the calculation in one corner of the paper and later on they forget. They do not write things properly, right, on the paper, on the rough sheet. They do not do that, because of which they lose track of the calculations And obviously they do not want to take risk in the further questions. So many a times they find that in question number 4, I have the same piece of information which I had in question number 1, but I have lost track of question number 1. I have lost wherever I performed those calculations. So let me perform those calculations again. That's a crime, right? You should not be performing the same calculation multiple number of times. So you have to save the calculations that you are making, and you have to structurize it properly so that you do not lose it. And the next one is approximations should be done by minimizing the amount of errors. I can consider 7652. I can consider 10% of that as 765. That's okay. Why? Because 0.2 doesn't make a huge part of 7652. No problems with that. And also the options were pretty close to each other, right? Let's say assuming 7652 as 7600, that would have been problematic. That approximation is absolutely not permitted. Why? Because 52 makes a considerable part of 7600, and if you look at the options, they are very, very close to each other. We cannot take that risk. We cannot write let's say 475 as 500. That's not possible. Why? 25 turns out to be the difference between the actual value and the approximated value, and 25 constitutes more than 5% of 475. So you are considering an error of 5% in the value when you are considering 475 is 500. So these kinds of approximations should be done by considering all facts, by looking at the options also. Are the options far away from each other, so that we have that freedom to approximate accordingly, or maybe the options are pretty close to each other. In that case, we cannot approximate much. We have to be very, very tight in our calculations. So all those criteria have to be taken into account before making any approximations. So these are some of the points which we should keep in our mind before delving into data interpretation. Now, let me show you a couple of examples. Say they're talking about, this table shows the income in lakhs of rupees and the percentage of profit made by 5 companies A, B, C, D and E in the year 2017. Okay, so the year is 2017. There are 5 companies A, B, C, D, E. Their income means the amount of money they have gained, right? They have got from outside, which means that is to be considered as the selling price, the price at which you sell an article and you get money in return. And expenses will be the cost price, the expenses that you incur to maybe manufacture a product. That's the cost price. So the amount you are giving to buy something. So that's how, if you relate, things will become easier, right? So expenses are the same as cost price. Income is the same as selling price. Profit has to be the difference between them. Obviously, the income has to be more than the expenses. Then and only then it becomes a profit. That's what they have mentioned here. Income is equal to expenses plus profit. And profit percentages is given by expenses minus income upon expenses into 100. So expenses is the CP minus income, selling price. So it should be actually the other way around. Anyway, they're looking for the difference, nothing that important. So we already understood what's the meaning of profit percentage, what's the meaning of income here, and what's expenses. Okay. Now we should not, after we understood all these things, we should not directly delve into, okay, fine, I have the incomes of A, B, C, D, E, I have the profit percentages of A, B, C, D, E, why don't I calculate the expenses of all of them? Absolutely not. We have to go to the question and see what they are asking in the question. We'll calculate only that much, nothing else. So let's find out what they're asking in the question. The expenses incurred by company A, cost price of company A, is approximately how much in lakhs of rupees less than those incurred by company B. So we just have to calculate the expenses of A, the profit of A, income of A. That's how it's poised. So expenses plus the profit gives the income. The same holds true for B. We do not know the expenses of A. We know the profit percentage. We know the income. We do not know the expenses of B. We know the profit percentage, that's 12%, and the income is 180. We have to calculate the expenses of A, expenses of B, and find out the expenses incurred by A is approximately how much less than those incurred by B. That's what we have to calculate. Okay. So let's look at the percentages carefully. What is 32 percentage? 32 percentage is the profit percentage made by A. Now, if somebody had said 50 percentage is the profit, I would have said the profit is 1 upon 2, which means if the cost price is 2, there must have been a profit of 1, thereby selling the article at 3. Here, the percentage given is 32%, whose fractional equivalent has to be 32 upon 100, which when simplified gives us 8 upon 25. Which means I can say that if 25 is considered as the cost price or expense, then there has to be an increase of 8 because there is a profit of 8. Thereby, it must have been sold for 33. This is the simplest scenario, or the scenario in the simplest form, in the simplest values. But they are not the actual values. What are the actual values? What do we know about the actual values? We just know the income of company A. How much is it? It's 192. That's the actual value. 33 was assumed by us. So because we were working with a ratio, now we have to think 33. What should we multiply with 33 so that it becomes 192? Think about it, approximate. 33, if I multiply it with 6, I can reach the 180s. How much is it? 33 into 6, that's 180 plus 18, that should give me 198. That's more than 192, right? Which tells us that the number that has to be multiplied with 33 to make it 192 cannot be 6. It has to be just less than 6. Let's consider that to be 5.8. That's a bit closer to 6. So we have to multiply 5.8 with 25 as well. Now somebody might ask, why did I multiply 5.8? Why not 5.9? Because think about it, multiplying 25 with 5.9 will give you a value in decimals. Whereas if I multiply 5.8, that will give you a value which is not in decimals. That will be an integer value, right? So these things also have to be taken care of. 25 times 5.8, that's the same as 25 multiplied by 5, that's 125, and 80% of 25. 80% of 25 is 20. So 125 plus 20, that gives us 145, which are the expenses of company A. Right? In a similar fashion, we have to calculate the expenses of company B as well. First, percentage value. How much is the percentage value? That's 12%. Let's convert it into ratio. That's 12 upon 100. That gives us 3 upon 25 when we simplify using 4. That tells us that if I consider 25 as the expenses of B, then there will be a 3 increase, a profit of 3, thereby making it 28. So 28 will become the income now. But 28 is the assumed value. 25 is to 28 is the ratio in which cost price and selling price, expenses and income should be there. What's the actual value? The actual value is 180. So I have to convert 28 to 180. The question is, what should we multiply? Now I know that 30 when multiplied 6 times, that gives us 180. So here we have 28. Now 28, since it's lower than 30, it has to be multiplied more than 6 times to get 180. So we get somewhere around 6.4, right? Now, once we multiply 6.4 with 28, we get a value which is closer to 180. We have to multiply the same value with 25 as well. Again, the question might arise, why didn't I take 6.3? Why didn't I take 6.5? Again, because of the same reason. I do not want to bring a decimal there. Right, if you multiply with 25, a 6.4, a 6.2, those will give you integer values because they are even, right? So 25 times 6.4, 25 into 6 is 150, and 25 into 4, that's 25 into 0.4, that's 40%. So 150 plus 10, that should give us 160. That's the expense of B. What did they want in the question? The expenses incurred by A is approximately how much less than those incurred by B. So expenses of A 145, expenses of B 160. So it has to be a 15 increase. That means the answer has to be option B. That's the closest. Look at the options carefully. The options now are far away from each other. That's why I could perform those approximations. 6.4, 5.8, those approximations could be done just because the values are far away from each other. Had they been very close to each other, 15, 13, 14.5, 14, 12, had they been so close to each other, those approximations would have been very difficult. Right, let me show you one more example. Let's say we have something like this. Now, here the values are not ugly, right? Table 1 gives information about the total number of employees in each of the 4 departments, HR, IT, Finance and Marketing of 4 companies A, B, C and D. Fair enough, understood. Table 2 gives the ratio of male employees to female employees in each of the departments combining all the companies. So 2 kinds of data are given to us. The first data given in table 1, that represents how many employees are there. Let's say in HR company A, there are 36 employees. IT company B, there are 54 employees. Finance company C, there are 52 employees. Marketing company D, there are 64 employees. So that gives us the total number of employees in each and every department of 4 companies A, B, C, D. The second table gives the male to female ratio of the entire HR group combining all the 4 companies, which means in case of HR, if I add up all the values 36, 27, 29 and 48, I'll get a total value. That one, when distributed in the ratio 4:3, will give me how many male HRs are there and how many female HRs are there in all the companies put together. But we do not need that. Right, so it's not mandatory that I have to add up each and every total value, divide each and every ratio, gather all the information first and then go for the question. No, we have to directly go to the question and read what they're asking us to do. They're asking us the number of male employees in the IT department is how much more or less than the number of female employees in the marketing department combining all the 4 companies. They are interested only in the IT department and marketing department of table 1. That should give us the total value, total number of IT and marketing employees. And in the second table also, in the IT section, we want the ratio. In the marketing section, we want the ratio. But even after the ratio, we don't want male, female. That's not required. For IT, we just need the numbers of male employees, and in marketing, we just need the numbers of the female employees. That's it. We don't want any other calculation. So what we do is, first of all, we add up the total values. In IT, we get a total of 215. In marketing, we get a total of 320. Right? These numbers have to be distributed in the ratios they want. So now, if I divide 215 in the ratio for males and females, the ratio in IT is given as 23 is to 20. I do not want the 20 part. I do not want the number of females there. So I'll simply calculate the number of males. That's done by 23 upon 43 into 215. That gives me a total of 115. Similarly, out of the 320 marketing employees, males and females are distributed in the ratio 5 is to 3. I do not want the 5 part. I want only the female part. That's a 3/8 of 320. That should give me 120. So number of male employees in IT department 115. Number of female employees in marketing department 120. They are asking 115 is how much more or less than 120. We can see that it's exactly 5 less, which tells us that the answer has to be option C. Right. So in this video, we have just done the introductory part where I told you about some of the points which you have to remember. What is data interpretation and how is it different from just mere calculation, right? They do not want any calculation from you. They want you to interpret the data properly. And we have seen 2 small examples of tabular charts being used in data interpretation questions. These are single questions. Generally, what they give is they always give you questions which are based on sets, right? A set of questions of 3 or 4 or 5 questions together. That's what they generally give. In the next video, we'll start discussing one set at a time. We'll start with an easy set first. Then eventually we'll move to a medium level, a difficult level set also. So in the upcoming video, we'll have a proper set of questions with multiple questions in it, but it'll be an easy one.
Hi everyone, welcome to the session. In this session, we are going to discussing about pie chart data interpretation. Pie chart data interpretation. In the previous sessions, we have discussed about tabular data interpretation. Now, in this session, we are starting with pie chart data interpretation. See, pie chart data interpretation is also very important for all competitive examinations as well as various placement drives for engineering graduates. Now, first of all, to solve the questions in this pie chart or else any kind of data interpretation, you have to read the information carefully. First of all, what is the information provided in this pie chart? Read that information. The following pie chart shows the expenditure incurred on the construction of a house in a city. Here, the complete information which is provided in the pie chart, that is related to expenditure part. Expenditure of steel, expenditure of cement, bricks, miscellaneous and also labor charges. Total, these are the 5 expenditures are there to construct a house in a city. That is the given information. And one more thing, the values which are provided in the pie chart, all the values are in terms of degrees. Each and every value is given in terms of degrees. That is either 54, 72, 36, 90, 108. All these are in terms of degrees. Now, I will tell you, before going to the questions, I will tell you how to convert degrees to percentage. How to convert degrees to percentage as well as percentage to degrees. Entire pie chart, especially in pie chart, you must know this these 2 points. See, first one, degrees to pie chart, degrees to percentage, degrees to percentage. See, degrees to percentage, entire pie chart is having 360 degrees. Entire pie chart is having 360 degrees and this is equal to total percentage is 100%. Entire pie chart is 360 degrees and the percentage is total 100%. Based on this, you need to convert degrees to percentage as well as percentage to degrees. Suppose for example, if you want to convert 36 degrees into percentage, as we know that 360 degrees is equal to 100%, right? Then 36 degrees is equal to how much percentage? Which is equal to 100 into 36 divided by 360. Here 0 gets cancelled, 36 cancelled. Therefore, this 36 degrees is nothing but 10%. 10%. This is the way of converting degrees to percentage. Suppose if it is a reverse approach, let us take 25%. Let us take 25%. Now we are converting percentage to degrees. Percentage to degrees. 25% is equal to how many degrees? 25%. 25% in the sense 25 by 100. Right? Now, if you want to convert into degrees, total pie chart is having 360 degrees. So, you need to multiply with 360 into 360, which is equal to, here it is 1/4. 1/4 of 360, which is equal to 90 degrees. Therefore, 25% is equal to 90 degrees. In this way, you need to calculate, you need to convert either degrees to percentage or else percentage to degrees. Especially while solving the problems related to pie chart diagram, definitely you must know these 2 points. First one, degrees to percentage, and the second one is percentage to degrees. We don't know why, because we don't know when they will give when he will give degrees and when he will give percentage. So you must know the conversions. Once it is done, it is very easy to get the answers, especially in pie chart. Getting the answers are very easy as comparing with the remaining diagrams, right? See, first of all, the first question is the mean of the expenditure is on. See, the expenditure, total expenditure is nothing but, mean is nothing but what? Average, right? Mean is nothing but average. First calculate the average. Average is equal to, as we all know that average is sum of observations by number of observations. Here if you add all these values, no need of adding, but if you add all these values, definitely you will get 360 degrees. What is the reason? Because entire pie chart is always 360 degrees. Entire pie chart is always 360 degrees. 360 degrees divided by, as we are calculating the average, number of observations. Now you can count how many different observations are there. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Total 5 different observations. That is steel, cement, bricks, miscellaneous, labor. Total 5. 360 divided by 5, which is equal to how much it is? See here, 5 sevens, 5 sevens 35 and next 72. 72 degrees. Here the average expenditure is 72 degrees. That particular 72 degrees is on. That is 72 degrees is nothing but cement. Cement is the right answer. Cement is the right answer. Option B. Let's move on to the next question. See here, the ratio of expenditure on steel, cement and brick is. Here, we need to calculate the ratio of steel, cement and next brick. What is steel value? Steel value 36 degrees. Everything is given in terms of degrees. No need of converting into percentage. Okay. If you want to convert into percentage, then only you can convert. But as everything is given in terms of degrees, no need of converting. And second one is cement. Cement is 72. And third one is brick. Brick is 54. brick is 54 degrees. Now you can cancel with 18 table. 18 twos are 18 4 times, 18 3 times. Therefore, the required ratio is 2 is to 4 is to 3. 2 is to 4 is to 3, that is the ratio of steel, cement and brick. Once check it out the options 2, 4, 3, which is option A. 2 is to 4 is to 3. Option A is the right answer for this question. Let's see the third question. What is the question here? The highest expenditure in percentage is. Here, just by observing the given diagram, it is very clear that 108 is highest. 108 is highest. Why? Because remaining all are 36, 72, 54 and second highest is 90 and the highest value is 108 degrees. If anything is having highest degrees, automatically that particular value is having highest percentage, right? Here the highest expenditure in percentage. Highest expenditure is 108 degrees, but we want that value in terms of percentage. See, 108 degrees convert into percentage. Just now I told that how to convert degrees to percentage. Right? See here, 108 degrees. 108 degrees is nothing but 108. It is having this particular portion. This particular portion is having 108 degrees out of total 360 degrees, right? Into, whenever you are converting into percentage, into 100 percentage symbol, that is common. Therefore, required percentage is equal to 108 by 360 into 100 percentage. Here 0 gets cancelled and next 18 twos are 18 6 times, 2 ones are 2 3 times. Therefore, that particular percentage 3 into 10, 30 percentage. 30 percentage is the required answer for this question. 30 percentage. Option B is the right answer. Option B. Let's see the next question. What part of expenditure on labor is in respect to total expenditure? See here, labor charges, labor expenditure is what part of total expenditure? Here, basically labor is having 90 degrees, right? Labor is having 90 degrees. That particular 90 degrees is having how much part of total expenditure? As we all know that total is always 360 degrees, right? Total is always 360 degrees and labor is given as 90 degrees. Therefore, required part is equal to 90 out of 360. 90 out of 360, which is equal to 91 sir 94 times, 1/4 part. Here, labor expenditure is 1/4 part of total expenditure. Option C is the right answer for this question. Option C. Next one. See here the information is of the total expenditure, the percentage of expenditure on steel and bricks together is. See, out of the total expenditure, we need to calculate the percentage of the expenditure on steel and bricks together. Here the value of steel 36 degrees, whereas bricks that is 54 degrees. Now, as we are talking about together, add these two. Together is nothing but summation of these two. 36 and 54, which is equal to 90 degrees. Which is equal to how much? 90 degrees. Now, the question is, we need to calculate the percentage. Here the degrees is 90 degrees, but we want the percentage. If you want to convert any degrees into percentage, what we have to do? Total 90 degrees are there out of total. Out of value will always comes under denominator. Here total is always 360 degrees. Total is always 360 degrees. Therefore 90 by 360, and whenever you are calculating percentage into 100 percentage symbol, that is common thing. Now you can do the calculation part. 90 ones are 94 times, and next 4 ones are 425. Therefore the required percentage will be 25 percentage. 25 percentage. Steel and bricks together. Expenditure on steel and bricks together, the percentage value become 25 percentage. That is the required answer. Option C. Option C is the right answer for this question. Guys, I hope you understand each and every problem in this pie chart. In the coming sessions, we are going to discussing about few more some more pie chart questions in this. So I hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Hi everyone. Welcome to the session. In this session, I am continuing pie chart data interpretation. First of all, you need to read the information which is provided in this pie chart. After that, you need to solve the questions based on this. Here the information is about percentage distribution of students studying in arts and commerce in 7 different institutes. Here the different institutes are A, B, C, D, E, F, G. These are the 7 different institutes and also the information which is given in these two pie charts. Here if you look at first pie chart, total number of students studying in arts. This is the chart which is showing number of students who are studying in arts, whereas the second pie chart is about commerce. And A, B, C, D, E, F, G, these are the 7 different institutions and the percentage distribution of number of students are given among arts as well as commerce in these two pie charts. This is the complete information. First of all, you need to understand this complete information, then only it is possible to solve the problems in each and every data interpretation, whether it is tabular data interpretation, pie chart, bar graph, line graph, or else mixed one, whatever the data interpretation. Definitely you must understand the information first, then you have to follow the questions. First of all, see, some people what they will do is first they will calculate A is equal to A in arts, how much value. Total arts is 3800. A is having 15 percentage. What is 15 percentage of 3800? Like that they will calculate each and every value. But that particular thing is not at all required. In examination point of view, while solving the problems, whatever the things are asking in each and every question, only those things you can calculate and remaining all are not required. Okay. If you look at the first question, what is the total number of students studying in arts institutes A and G together? Total number of students studying arts. Arts is nothing but first pie chart. First pie chart A and G together. A is having 15 percentage. G is having 12 percentage. A and G together. Arts A and G together, which is equal to 27 percentage. 27 percentage. All together will be having 3800. All together will be having 3800. In this 3800, 27 percentage. 27 percentage is arts. In this total 3800, 27 percentage is arts. Now you can cancel these two values, two zeros. 38 into 27, that is your answer. Here if you observe carefully, 38 into 27, units place must be 6. Why? Because 8 sevens are 56, 5 is the carry forward, right? And in the given options, each and every option is ending with 6. So you need to calculate the remaining values as well. And next, here it is 3 sevens, 21, 21 plus 16. 21 plus 16, 37, right? 37 plus 5, 42. 4 is the carry. And next, 3 2s 6 and next 6 plus 4 10 1026 1026 that is option A. Total number of students studying arts in institutes A and G together, that is 1026. That is the required answer. I am not calculating A and G individually. I am calculating together value directly. A and G together 15 plus 12. 15 plus 12 which is equal to 27. What is 27 percentage of 3800? That is your answer for this question. 1026. Let's move on to the next question. Second one. How many students from Institute B study arts and commerce? Here, Institute B, we are talking about Institute B, and also you need to calculate arts and commerce separately. After that, you need to add those two values. Institute B, first arts. Arts is having 8% Institute B out of total 3800. Two zeros cancel. 8 8s are 64. 6 is a carry. 8 3s are 24. 24 plus 6 30. 304. Institute B Arts 304. That is a value. Whereas coming to second one, Commerce. Institute B 17%. What is 17% of total commerce is 4200. So two zeros cancel. Two zeros cancel. 17 into 40, 17 into 42. 17 into 42. Here 7 2s are 14 and next 1 is carry. 2 plus 28. Product of these two and summation of these two. 1 into 2, 2. 4 into 7, 28. 28 plus 2, 30. 30 plus 1, 31. 3 carry. 4 plus 3. 4 plus 3, 7. 714. Institute B Commerce 714. Institute B Commerce 714. Institute B Arts 304. 304. Now you can add these two. 4 plus 4, 8. This is 1 and 7 plus 3, 10. 1018. 1018. Option C is the right answer. Option C. Next one. Third question. The respective ratio between number of students studying arts and commerce from Institute E. Here we need to calculate the ratio of arts and commerce from Institute E. First arts. Arts Institute E and next Commerce Institute E. See, this is the ratio we need to calculate. First, Institute E Arts, that is 14%. 14% of the total value is 3800. And next, Commerce Institute E 18%. 18% of the total value is 4200. Now if you observe carefully, two zeros cancel, and then 14 ones are 14 3 times 42, and next you can cancel with 2 table, 2 nines are 2 19s. So the required ratio will be 19 is to 9 3s are 27. 19 is to 27. 19 is to 27. That is option B. 19 is to 27. That is the required answer for this question. Option B. Let's see the fourth question. See here, the ratio between number of students studying arts from Institute E, arts from Institute E. Numerator value, arts Institute E divided by, and the number of students studying commerce from Institute D. Commerce Institute D. This is the ratio we need to calculate. First, Institute E Arts. This is Arts Institute E 14%. 14% of 3800. That is the numerator. And the denominator commerce insured D, which is also 14%. 14% of total value in commerce, that is 4,200. Now 14% will cancel. Two zeros cancel. And next 2 19s, 2 21s. Therefore, the required ratio becomes 19 is to 21. 19 is to 21. Once look at the options. Option C is the right answer. 19 is to 21. That is the answer for this question. See the last question in this pie chart. In this pie chart, this is the last question. Here the question which is provided in this slide is how many students from Institute B and D together? Institute B and D together study commerce. We are not talking about arts. We are talking about commerce. Institute B and D together. B and D together, it means B plus D, which is equal to B value 17% and D value 14%. 17% plus 14%, how much it is? Here it is 31%. B plus D together 31%. That is the required percentage, and you need to calculate what is 31% of total commerce 4,200. Total commerce value 4,200. Here two zeros and two zeros both are cancelled. Now 42 into 31. 42 into 31. 2 ones are 2. And next 1 is carry. Sorry, not 1. 2 ones are 2. And next 4 plus 6. 4 ones are 4 plus 2 threes are 6. 4 plus 6 10. 1 is carry. 4 threes are 12. 12 plus 1 13. 1302. 1302, that is the required answer. It means 31% of 4,200 value, we got it as 1302, which is option B. Option B is the right answer for this question. Guys, if you understand the given information properly, problem solving is not at all a difficult task. Only thing you need to focus on the three areas. One is averages, ratios, as well as percentages. These are the three things you need to be very much confident about these three particular topics. Then only it is possible to solve the problems in data interpretation especially. In the next session, we'll discuss some more problems related to pie chart. I hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Hi everyone. Welcome to the session. In this session, I am continuing bar graph data interpretation. First of all, we need to read the information carefully, and then we need to solve the questions according to the given information. Here the information is study the following bar graph carefully and answer the questions. The information is about number of girls and boys and girls participating in a rally from 5 different schools. Here the information is about how many girls and boys are participating in a rally from 5 different schools. Here 5 different schools are A, B, C, D, E. These are the 5 different schools, and how many girls and how many boys are participating in a rally. That is the given information. Here if you observe carefully, here this box in the sense blank one, that is belongs to girls, and this dark one is belongs to boys according to this diagram. Okay, so you need to be cautious about which one is boys and which one is girls. Sometimes he will mention first one is boys and second one is girls. So whenever he mentioned these kind of diagrams, you just have a look at about this particular case. If you look at this one, here the blank one is related to girls and the dark one is related to boys. If you observe this one, definitely you can identify which one is belongs to boys and which one is belongs to girls. Now it is very clear that information is valid information, and we can able to solve the questions according to the given information. Each and every value is known value. how many boys are participating in a rally from all 5 schools and how many girls are participating in a rally from all 5 schools. That is the information. Now we need to solve the questions. Look at the first question. What is the total number of girls participating in a rally from schools A and C together? Here the question is A and C together, number of girls. A and C together, total number of girls participating. A number of girls. Girls representation is white color. So girls A 450. Whereas coming to C, this A value 450. Whereas coming to C, it is 475. 475. Now you can add these two values. Units place 0 plus 5, 5. 7 plus 5, 12. 1 is carry forward. 4 plus 4, 8. 8 plus 1, 9. 925. 925. Therefore, total number of girls who are participating in the rally from the schools A and C together, which is 925. Option C is the right answer for this question. Option C. Second one. Second question. What is the respective ratio of total number of girls participating in the rally from schools D and E together and the total number of boys participating in the rally from schools A and B together? Here we need to calculate the ratio of first girls D and E together. D and E girls, and the second one is boys A and B. A and B together boys. A and B together boys. This is the ratio we need to calculate. First one is D and E girls. Girls are belongs to white color. So D. This is girl and this is also girl. Here D. School D number of girls 500. School E number of girls 550. So this value becomes 1050. 1050. And next, school A number of boys. Number of boys. Boys are dark color, right? So this is a dark one. A and B. Here 475. 475. That is school A. Whereas coming to school B, 525. School B, 525. Now you can add these two. 475 plus 25, 500. 500 plus 500, that is 1000. So the ratio of these two. Here 0, 0 gets cancelled. You can cancel with 5 table as well. 5 21s, 5 20s. Therefore, the required ratio of D and E girls and A and B boys, that is 21:20. 21:20, that is the required answer. Option D is the right answer for this question. Option D. Let us look at the third question. The number of girls participating in the rally from school E is approximately what percent of number of boys participating in the rally from the same school? Here we need to calculate the approximate percentage. Approximate percentage, which is nothing but, here the question is girls from school E. School E. Girls from school E. This particular value, what percent of boys from the same school? In the denominator, you need to write boys from the same school, which is E. And whenever you are calculating percentage, into 100 percentage symbol, that is the common thing. Now you can calculate this value. Approximate percentage is girls school E. Girls school E, which is 550. Here the white color is girls and the dark one is boys. So girls school E, which is 550, whereas coming to boys, that is 450, right? Here it is boys 450 into 100. Into 100 percentage symbol. Now here it is 0, 0 gets cancelled. 5 11s are 5 9 times. Now this value becomes 11 into 100 1100, 1100 by 9 percentage, which is nothing but approximately. You don't want to calculate decimal values as this 1100 is not divisible by 9. You just take the approximate answer. First 9 ones are 9 and still you left over with 2 20. 20 means 9 twos are 9 twos are again 18. Still 2 will be left over. 20. 20 means again 9 twos are. So 122 percentage. That is the approximate value. You don't want to calculate the exact value. The reason is he is asking us to calculate the approximate value, and we don't want to calculate the after the point what will come. That is not at all required. So always when we are trying for approximate answers, just go with the approximations. No need of calculating the exact answer. Is it clear? For this question the answer is 122 percentage. In the given options we have 122, that is option E. Option E is the right answer for this question. Option E. Let us look at the fourth question. What is the average number of girls participating in the rally from all schools together? Here we need to calculate the average. First of all, average is equal to what? Sum of observations divided by number of observations. Number of observations. Average is equal to sum of observations by number of observations. That will give us average. So here also we have to do the same task. Average of all the girls participating in the rally. That is a question we need to calculate. If you want the average of all girls, numerator value will be sum of all girls divided by number of schools. Divided by number of schools. How many values we are taking into consider? Therefore, average is equal to first total sum of girls. Girls nothing but white color portion. All these are girls. So write down all the values. In school A, number of girls 450 plus school B 550 plus school C 475, school D 500, school E 550. This is the total sum divided by number of schools. How many schools are there? 5 schools. Therefore, the required average is equal to, see here, 450, 550, 1000. 1000 plus 500, 1500. 1500 plus 500, 2000. Still 50 is left over at this position. Take this value as 500 only. This is 1000 plus 1000, 2000. 2000 plus 1400 plus 125, right? 1400, 1525, 1525. 1525. 475 plus 50, that is 525. 525 plus 2000, right? This is 1000 and this is 1000. Total 2000. 2000 plus 525. 2525 divided by 5. Divided by 5. Now you can calculate this value. 5 5s are 5 5s are 25. Next 0. Again 5 5s are 5 not 5 into 5. That will give us 2525. Therefore, the required average is 505. Average number of girls participating in the rally from all schools together. 505. Option A is the right answer for this question. Option A. Last question in this session. The number of boys participating in the rally from school B is what percent of number of children participating in the rally from that school. See, in the given bracket, rounded off to 2 digits after the decimal point. So, we need to calculate after the decimal point up to 2 digits we need to calculate. Okay. Here the question is, we need to calculate the percentage. What is our required percentage to be calculated? That is number of boys from school B. Boys from school B, what percent of total number of children from that school? Total number of children from school B. Therefore, boys B divided by total school B, and whenever you are calculating percentage into 100, percentage symbol, that is the common thing. Therefore, the required percentage is equal to boys from school B. Here, if you look at boys from school B, which is 525, divided by, and total number from school B. Total number is nothing but boys and girls together. Girls 550 plus boys 525 into 100. Now we can calculate this one. Here it is 525 divided by, here it is 1000 plus 75, 1075 into 100 percentage. Right. Now here we can calculate with we can cancel with 25 table. 25, 2 and 1, 21 times. And next this is 4 times and 3 times. 21 by 43 into 100. So that value is nothing but 2100 divided by 43. Calculate one by one. If you take this one as 5 times, it will be more than 210, right? 43 fours. First 43 fours. 43 fives, that is 200 and 215, that is more than 210. So 43 fours. If you observe the options, each and every option is almost nearby values. 48 point something, 47 point something, 49 point something, 46 point something. So when the options are nearby values, better to go with the exact values. You will get the exact result instead of going with approximations. Here it is 43 4, sir. That is 160 plus 12, 172. Still you left over with 28 plus 10, 38 and 380. 380 means 48, how many times? Around 48, sorry, 43 8s there. Suppose for example, if you take 43 8s, sir, that is 320 plus 24, 344. And if you take one more time, if it is 9 times, then it will be 387. So you should not go with that value. 43 8s there. 43 8, sir, value is 344. Still you left over with 36. 36. So 360. 360 means again it is 8 times 344. And next 16. And next that will be around 3 point something. So you will get 48.84 percentage. Why? Because here if you take 3, we don't have the option related to 3, but we want the answer up to 2 decimal digits. Here if you observe carefully in the given options, 48.84 is there. So you can keep the answer as 48.84. Option A is the right answer, and if you look at the remaining options, there is no other option which is satisfying the given answer. Here our required answer is 48.84. Sometimes if luck is not in our favor, some of the options, at least 2 options will be in terms of 48. In that case, it is very difficult to get the entire result. So you must be aware of these kind of techniques. If you are getting 48 in the given options, nothing, no other value starts with 48, directly you can keep it as 48.84. Okay, option A is the right answer for this question. In this way you need to solve the questions related to this model. Guys, I hope you understand each and every problem in this session, and thanks for watching.
Hi everyone, welcome to the session. In this session, I am continuing case-led data interpretation. First of all, we need to read the information carefully. Based on that information, we need to solve the questions accordingly. Here, the in case-led data interpretation, information will be provided in terms of passage. In terms of passage, So some passage will be given. For that particular passage, information is there. That particular information is whatever the information. Previously, we also did one. We discussed about one problem. Now we'll see another one. See, here the information which is given in this passage is, in a college there are 1,000 seats are available for different branches: ECE, EEE, CSC, IT, Mechanical, Civil, and Agriculture. Total we are having 3 plus 4. 3 plus 4, 7. Total 7 branches: ECE, EEE, CSC, IT, Mechanical, Civil, and Agriculture. And total number of seats available are 1,000. That is the information about it. Now, in each and every branch, how many seats are available? That information is given as follows. Once look at the information. Number of seats for ECE is 1/4 of total number of seats. So it is very clear that number of seats for ECE, which is equal to 1/4 of total number of seats available, which is equal to 1,000, right? 1/4 of 1,000, that value is 250. 1/4 of 1,000, that value is 250. And next, from this point, as the total value is, here I am writing the total value. Initial total is 1,000. Once it is done, 250 is completed. Still you left over with 750. Still you left over with 750 seats. Now look at the next statement. Number of EEE seats are. Now we are talking about EEE. Number of EEE seats are 1/6 of the remaining seats. 1/6 of the remaining seats are 750. Some people, what they will do is they will take 1/6 of total. He is not telling that 1/6 of total. He is telling that 1/6 of remaining. Here this is the remaining value. Remaining value is 750 after completion of ECE branch. So you need to take 750 seats at this position. Now you just cancel with the 6 table. 6 1s are 6, and next 6 2s are 3 is left over. 30 means 6 5s are 125. Now 125 is completed for EEE. Now what is the remaining value left over? This is 5, and this is 2, and this is 6. 625. 625. Number of seats which are available. Number of seats which are available, that is 625 after completing ECE and EEE. Now look at the next one. Number of mechanical seats are. Here we are talking about mechanical. Now the number of mechanical seats are 40 less than the number of ECE seats. It is very clear that number of mechanical seats are 40 less than the number of ECE branch seats. That is equal to number of ECE seats, that is 250 minus 40, which is equal to 210. Number of mechanical seats are 210. So this 210 is also completed for mechanical. Still how many seats are left over? This is 5, this is 1, this is 4. 415. Still 415 seats are left over. And next, coming to IT. Number of IT seats. What about IT seats? 20 less than EEE seats. Number of IT seats are 20 less than the EEE seats. Here we got EEE seats as 125. 125 minus 20, which is equal to this particular value. Here it is 105. Number of IT seats are 105. Now you just subtract 105 from the remaining 415. Here it is 0, and this is 1, and this is 3. Now the remaining seats available after completing ECE, EEE, Mechanical, IT, which is equal to 310. And next, up to here the information is done. And next one is number of civil seats. Now we are talking about civil. number of civil seats are 10 less than the number of agriculture. Now finally, I think, sorry, number of civil seats are 10 less than agriculture. Agriculture minus 10 and 30 less than CSC seats. That means, and in the sense, this particular information is about civil seats only. Number of civil seats are 30 less than CSC. CSC minus 30, and this is equal to agree minus 20. Agree minus 10. This is the relationship of all these three: civil, CSC, and agriculture. Now, from this, it is very important that let us consider number of civil seats are x. Number of civil seats are x. Let us consider number of civil seats which are is equal to x. Then from this, CSC seats is equal to the relationship between civil and CSC, that is civil is equal to CSC minus 30. So minus 30 goes to left side, that becomes plus 30. Civil value x plus 30, x plus 30. And next, coming to agriculture seats, civil we have taken as x. So agriculture is equal to minus 10 goes to left side, plus 10, x plus 10. So finally you will be having number of civil seats are x, CSC seats are x plus 30, agriculture seats are x plus 10. And from the beginning onwards, we have calculated that the remaining value, the sum of remaining all these three branches, it means civil plus CSC plus agriculture, CSC plus agriculture, which is equal to 310. That is the sum of all these three values. Now from this, civil is equal to x, CSC is equal to x plus 30, agriculture is equal to x plus 10, which is equal to 310. Now from this, 3x is equal to 30 plus 10, 40. 40 comes to right side. 310 minus 40, which is equal to 270. Now you just cancel with 3 table. X is equal to 90. Once you got x is equal to 90, it is very easy to said about how many seats are for civil, how many seats for CSC, and how many seats for agriculture. X is nothing but civil. Civil is equal to 90. And next, CSC. CSC is equal to x plus 30. That is 90 plus 30, 120. 120 seats for CSC. And finally, agriculture. Agriculture is x plus 10, which is equal to 90 plus 10. 90 plus 10, which is equal to 100. These many seats for agriculture. Now look at these values. These are the remaining three values, and these are the initial three values, initial four values. Number of EC 250, number of EEE 125, number of mechanical seats 210, number of IT seats 105, civil 90, CSC 120, agriculture 100. This is the complete information about this particular passage. Once you got this final passage end result, now the problem solving is not a difficult task. The only time required is only for solving this passage, not for solving the problems. Problem solving is maximum it will take hardly 2 minutes for entire all 5 questions, whereas coming to this particular passage, it takes somewhat time to calculate each and every individual department or branch wise number of seats available, right? So once the information is done, you just go ahead with the questions. Look at the first question. Here is the first question. Number of CSC seats. Number of CSC seats are what percent of number of ECE seats. Now we are talking about CSC and ECE. CSC seats are, that is 120. This value CSC seats are 120, whereas ECE seats are 250 according to the information which we got. Now this particular 120 number of CSC seats are what percent of number of ECE seats. So the required percentage is equal to number of CSC seats, that is 120. That value is what percent of ECE divided by 250 into 100. Whenever you are calculating percentage into 100, percentage symbol common. Here it is 0, 0 gets cancelled, and next 25 once, 25 4 times. Therefore the required percentage is 12 into 4. What is 12 into 4? 48. The required percentage is 48 percentage. 48 percentage is the right answer for this question. Once look at the options. Among the options, 48 is there at option B. Therefore option B is the right answer for this question. Option B. Next, second question. Here the second question is see, second question, number of mechanical seats are, here we are talking about mechanical seats, are what percentage more than the number of IT seats. Here basically how can you calculate a percentage more than, which is nothing but, if you want to calculate percentage more than, you just take the difference between those two values. It means here the difference between mechanical and IT seats, that is the difference you need to take, divided by less value among those two departments, less value. And whenever you are calculating percentage into 100, percentage symbol, that is the common point, right? This is the way of calculating percentage more than. Percentage more than or percentage increment, both are same. Now again you just go with the previous slide. Why? Because here we need to write down the values of mechanical department and IT department seats. Along with that, see, mechanical department branch, that is 210, mechanical 210 and IT 105. So mechanical is 210. Difference between those two, 210 minus 105 divided by less value among those two, which is 105, into 100 percentage, into 100 percentage. Once look at this value, here the difference is 210 minus 105, which is 105. 105 divided by 105 into 100 percentage. Here 105 gets cancelled. Therefore the required percentage increment, which is equal to 100 percentage. It means the number of mechanical seats are exactly 100 percentage more than that of number of IT seats. Number of IT seats. Once look at the options. Among the options, option C is the answer for this question, that is 100 percentage. Option C. Let us look at the third question. Here the third question, find the difference between, here we need to calculate the difference between number of civil seats and number of ECE seats. Here direct question, you need to calculate the difference between civil and ECE, number of civil students and number of ECE students. You need to take the difference between those two. Difference is nothing but, always remember, highest value minus lowest value. Highest value minus lowest value. It is not about civil minus ECE. It is not about ECE minus civil. Here the calculation is about highest value minus lowest value. That will indicates the difference between those two. Once look at the values, once go back to the previous slide, civil and ECE. Here ECE value is 250, ECE value is 250 and civil value is civil value which we got it as 90. So 250 and 90, that is the difference which we need to calculate. Here the values are ECE value is greater. So ECE value is 250 minus civil value is 90, which is equal to 250 minus 90, that particular value is 160. So that is the required difference between number of civil students and number of ECE students. 160 is the required answer for this question. Once look at the options, option A. Option A is the right answer for this question. Option A. Let us look at the fourth question. Here is the fourth question. Total how many seats are available for agriculture and triple it together? It means you need to add the number of seats which are available for agriculture and triple it together. You need to add these two values. Once go back to the first slide. Here agriculture value triple E is 125, agriculture is 100. Triple E value 125, agriculture value 100. Now you just add those two values. See here, triple E is 125 and that of agriculture is 100. The sum of these two, which is equal to 225. The total number of seats which are available for both agriculture and triple E together, which is equal to 225 seats. 225 seats, that is the required answer for this question. Total is equal to total of agriculture and triple E, that is 225 seats. Once look at the options. Among the options, option D is the right answer for this question. Option D. Now the last question in this session, which is what is the ratio of number of civil seats to the number of CSC seats in the college? See, you need to calculate the ratio of how many seats are available for civil and how many seats are available for CSC. That is the ratio that you need to calculate. Once look at the values of civil and CSC. Here the civil value is 90 and CSC value is 120. That ratio you need to calculate. First value is civil, second value is CSC. 90 and 120. Civil is equal to 90. Civil is equal to 90 and CSC is equal to 120. This ratio you need to calculate. Here 0, 0 gets cancelled and next 3 table you can cancel with 3 table. 3 3s are 3 4s are. Therefore the required ratio of number of civil seats and number of CSC seats in the college, which is 3:4. 3:4 is the required ratio of number of civil and number of CSC seats. Once look at the options. Among the options, option A is the right answer for this question. Option A. Guys, in this way you need to solve the problems based on this kind of case-led data interpretation. I hope you understand each and every problem in this session. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Hi everyone. Welcome to the session. In this session, I am explaining about case-led data interpretation. Here I am explaining about case-led data interpretation. First of all, in case-led data interpretation, how the questions will be there and what is the way of giving the information. First of all, the information is in terms of passage. Here the whatever the information which is provided in terms of passage. In that passage, some information will be there. Based on that passage, we need to give some conclusions accordingly. Why? Because that particular passage contains maybe around whatever the values of suppose for example in a college there are 1500 students. Out of all the students, some are playing cricket. Here there are few students are there. Out of them, some are playing cricket, some are playing hockey, some are playing football, and some are playing both hockey and football. These kind of information will be given. After that, Among that, by using that information, we need to draw some diagrams accordingly, whatever the possible diagram that we can able to draw. So once you got the final conclusion of that particular passage at the end of this particular information, then you can go ahead with the problems based on this passage. Here it is very easy to solve the problems once you got the final approach of this particular passage. Whatever the passage is given, for that particular passage you must calculate the final exact output, so that the calculations part will be very easy, right? First, look at the information which is provided in this passage. Here the passage is saying about in a college there are 1500 students. Total there are 1500 students in a college. Out of all those 1500 students, 360 students are playing only cricket. So here it is total 1500 students. Total 1500 students, and out of that only cricket which is showing about 360, only cricket 360 students, and 120 students are playing both cricket and hockey, both cricket and hockey, 120 members. And next 50 students are playing plays cricket, hockey and football, all three games, that is cricket, hockey and also football, all three games played by 50 members, all three games. And next one, number of students who played both hockey and football, that is 70, both hockey and football, that is equal to 50 members, not 50, 70. Number of students who are playing both hockey and football, which is equal to 70. And next, number of students who are playing both cricket and football, both cricket and football, number of students are 90. Now last information is that number of students who played only hockey, which is equal to only hockey. How many students? 390 students. 390 students are playing only hockey. So if you observe carefully, here we have total 3 different games. One is cricket, one is hockey, one is football. So whenever the problems passage is given based on these kind of informations, you need to draw the Venn diagram for these three. See, first one is cricket. One circle is for cricket, one circle is for hockey, and one circle is for football. This is cricket. Let us consider this is hockey and this is football. Now, whenever these kind of informations are given, first and foremost thing is you need to fill the intersection point of cricket, hockey and football. How many members are playing all the games, that is cricket, hockey and football, which is equal to 50. It means this value is 50. After that, look at the combinations of both the games, cricket, hockey, football and cricket, football. Once look at first one, cricket and hockey. Cricket and hockey is 120. Cricket and hockey is 120. Out of this 120, this is a region where cricket and hockey intersection is there. In this region, already 50 is completed at this position. Still you left over with only 70. That 70 will come at this position. And next, coming to this hockey and football. Hockey and football is 70. Intersection of hockey and football. This is the intersection of hockey and football. Already 50 is there at this position. Still 20 is left over. Total 70. And next, cricket and football is 90. This is cricket and this is football. Here, out of this intersection point, 50 is already there. Still 40 is left over. This is 40. Now, Once it is done, you need to focus on only a single game. Only cricket is 360. Here this is the region of only cricket. Only hockey is 390. Only hockey is 390. Now, from the given passage, we got all the values except only football. Except only football. What is that value? First, we need to calculate how many members are, how many students are playing only football. That is the value that we need to find out first. Why? Because remaining all values are given as per the given passage. So first we need to calculate only football, how many students are playing. So how do you get that value? It is very simple, that you just subtract whatever the values which are available in this Venn diagram from the total number of students. Here the total number of students are 1500, minus, you just subtract all the values, 360 minus of, you just add all the values of remaining, 360 plus 390 plus 70 plus 50 plus 40 plus 20. You need to add all these values and then subtract from 1500. You will get only football. So only football is equal to, here this value is 1500 minus, add all the values, units place is 0, and next coming to tens place, 6 plus 9 15, 15 plus 5 20, 27, 27 plus 4 31, 31 plus 2 33, 3 is the carry forward, and next 3 plus 3 6, 6 plus 3 9, still that is 9, 930. So sum of all the values except this particular only football, remaining values are 930. Now subtract 930 from this 1500. What you will get here? Here it is 570. 570 members are playing only football. 570 members are playing only football. This is the complete data about the given passage. Now from this diagram, it is very clear that total number of students in the college, that is 1500. Out of 1500, only cricket 360, only football 570, only hockey 390, and both cricket and hockey 120, both hockey and football 70, both cricket and football 90, and all three games are 50 members are playing. This is the complete data about the given passage. Here in caselet data interpretation, the information will be given in terms of passage. From that passage we need to give some standard conclusions. Now once you got this entire information, it is very easy to solve the problems based on this caselet data interpretation. Now look at the first question. Here is the first question. Find the number of students who plays cricket in a college. Who plays cricket? He is not asking us to take the only cricket. He is asking us to calculate how many members are playing cricket. How many members are playing cricket, in the sense you need to take all the values which are there in cricket circle. That is first one. This is cricket circle, right? So your required answer is how many members are playing cricket, which is equal to, I am just adding all the values which are there in cricket circle. One is 360. This 360 is only cricket. Number of students who are playing only cricket. And after that 70 is also there in that circle. That is only cricket and hockey. And next 40. This 40 is only cricket and football. And next 50. This 50 is a combination of cricket, hockey and football. All three games who are playing. That is 50. Now you just add all these values. 360 plus 40, 400. 400 plus 70, 470. 470 plus 50, 520. Therefore, number of students who are playing cricket, number of students who are playing cricket, which is equal to 520. That is the answer for this question. Once look at the options. Among the options, 520 is not there in any of the options. Therefore, your required answer is option E. None of this. None of this is the right answer. Look at the second question. Guys, once you got this entire information, based on this complete information, you need to solve the remaining questions as well. Not only one question. Based on this data, you need to solve remaining all 5 questions. One question is already done. Let us look at the second question. Here is the second question. Find the number of students who plays exactly one game. Who plays exactly one game? It means exactly one game. It might be only cricket, it might be only hockey, and it might be only football. Now you need to take all these 3 values and then add those 3 values. Only cricket is 360. One value is 360. Only hockey 390. Only football 570. So add those 3 values, 360, 390, 570. Here first value only cricket 360. Second value only hockey 390. Third value only football 570. 570. Now you just add all these 3 values. Units place is 0. And next coming to the tens place, 6 plus 9 15. 15 plus 7 22. 2 is the carry forward. And next 3 plus 3 6. 6 plus 5 11. 11 plus 2 13. 13 20. 13 20 is the right answer for this question. Here number of students who plays exactly one game. Exactly one game, that is 1320. That is the required answer. Here also 1320 is not there among the options. Therefore your answer is option E. Option E is the right answer. And next coming to this third question. Look at the third question. Find the number of students who plays at least 2 games. At least 2 games in the sense minimum 2 games. Minimum 2 games and maximum 3 games also you can take. Here according to the given passage we have total 3 games: cricket, hockey and football. Out of those 3 games, see, he is asking us to calculate, find the number of students who are playing at least 2 games. At least 2 games is indicating minimum 2 games, maximum 3 games also you can take. So first minimum 2 games. Minimum 2 games means that is combination of cricket and hockey. That is the first combination. Second combination, hockey and football. Hockey and football. And third combination, football and cricket. Football and cricket. These are the combinations of 2 games. Now you just also take all 3 combinations. That is cricket, hockey and also football. All 3 games. Now you just write down all the values. Write down all the values over there. Once go back. Cricket and hockey. First cricket and hockey 120. 120. Next hockey and football 70. Cricket and football 90. 120, 70, 90 and all 3 games 50. See, I am just writing all the values. 120. Next cricket and football. Cricket and football is 70. Cricket and football is 70. Football and cricket is 90. And all 3 games 50. Now you just add all the values. Units place is 0. Tens place. Here it is 2 plus 7 9. 9 plus 9 18. 18 plus 5 23. 2 is the carry forward. Next 2 plus 1 3. 330 is the sum of all these 4 values. It means number of students who plays at least 2 games, which is equal to 330. Among the options, 330 is the right answer for this question. That is option A. Option A is the right answer. Here none of this is indicating 1320. In the previous question also we have none of this. What is that answer? 520. 520 is the answer. 520. Let us look at the fourth question. 3 questions are completed. Now it is time for fourth question. See here, total how many students plays hockey and football? Total how many students are playing hockey and football, not together. Here he is asking us to calculate how many students are playing hockey, how many students are playing hockey, and how many students are playing football. How many students are playing hockey and how many students are playing football. It means you except cricket. Except cricket, you need to take all the remaining values. Except cricket in the sense uh, total how many students are playing hockey and football. So once go back to the first slide, that will show you the exact results. Except cricket, here hockey and football, only these two. Or else see, except only cricket, you need to take the values. Why? Because here this particular in this 3 circles, 70, 50, 40, these are also part of hockey and football, right? Therefore you need to take these 2 circles except only cricket. That means except 360, remaining all values you need to take. So except 360. So as we all know that total number of students are 1500. Total number of students are 1500, and only cricket is equal to 360 members. Now the combination of both hockey and football, which is nothing but obviously if you subtract only cricket value from total 1500, definitely you will get the number of students who are playing hockey and football. Here it is very clear that if you subtract if you want the number of students who are playing hockey and also football, he is not asking us to calculate both together. He is asking us to calculate how many members are playing hockey as well as cricket, which is equal to, you just take only hockey, or else hockey and football combination, or else hockey, football and cricket combination, or else only football, and here you can take football and cricket combination. All these combinations you just take it out. But instead of taking all these 5 values, it is better to take only few values. That is only one value. If you subtract only cricket 360 value from the total number of students, here the total number of students are 1500. From this 1500, if you subtract 360, what is the resultant answer? That is 1140. That is the difference between total number of students and only cricket, which will gives you a number of students who are playing hockey and football. That is 1140. Among the options, option D is the right answer for this question. Option D. Let us look at the fifth question. Here is the fifth question. What is the ratio of, here we need to calculate the ratio of number of students who plays only football. Here we need to take the ratio of only football to the number of students who plays only cricket and only football. First one is only football, second one is only cricket. See, if you observe carefully, once go back to only football. Only football is 570, only cricket is 360, right? You just take those two values. First value is only football, which is 570, is to only cricket is 360. Here 0 0 gets cancelled. After that you can cancel with 2 table. Here it is, sorry, 3 table. 3 ones are, and next 3 nines are. After that 3 12 times. Therefore the ratio of number of students who plays only football to the number of students who plays only cricket, which is equal to 19 is to 12. 19 is to 12. That is the required answer for this question. Once look at the options, 19 is to 12, that is not there in the given options. So you can go with the option E, which is 19 is to 12. In this way, you can calculate the problems based on the caselet data interpretation. Guys, I hope you understand the problems based on this caselet data interpretation. First of all, if you want to solve the problems based on this, first and foremost point is based on the information which is provided in the passage, you have to come to one conclusion of a final thing. Once you got all the values, then it is very easy to solve the problems based on that. Only thing is you need to get the final conclusion. Once you got the final conclusion, problem solving is not a difficult task. I hope you understand all the problems in this session. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Hi everyone. Welcome to the session. In this session, I am going to explaining about line graph data interpretation. Here I am going to explaining about line graph data interpretation. Here in the last session we have started line graph data interpretation. Let's continue the session with one more line graph data interpretation. First of all, we need to read the information carefully, and then we need to understand the information what is given. Based on that, we need to solve the questions according to that. Okay, see, look at the information which is provided in this line graph data interpretation. See here, the percentage rise in the production over the years. Here the information is very important. You have to read it carefully. Why? Because here the percentage of production is different. Percentage rise in production. Percentage rise in production over the years. It means that every year production is increases. Every year production is increases. As comparing with the previous year, starting year production is less as comparing with the ending year. Every year percentage value, the production value is increases only. Suppose for example here the production is 100, then it is increased by, here it is 50 percentage increases. Here 40 percentage increases as comparing with this value. And next here it is increased by 120. Here it is increased by 100 percentage. Likewise, every year production value is increases as comparing with the previous year value. That is the given information, and the years are given from 1999 to 2006. 99 to 2006. Total how many years which are given in this line graph data interpretation? Here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Total 8 years are given. Now we need to solve the questions according to the given information. See here, the first question which is related to this line graph DI, which is for how many years is the percentage rise more than 100? Here in this line graph, for how many years percentage rise is more than 100? Here we need to check it out the values which are having greater than 100. Here if you observe carefully, this is the line where we have 100, where we have 100. Here he is asking about more than 100. More than 100, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4. These are the 4 years. That is 2002, in 2002 and then 2004. You should not count 2003. Why? Because here he is asking about more than 100. In 2003 the value is exactly 100. You should not take the equal value. He is asking about more than 100. So you should not consider 2003. And next 2004, after that 2005, and after that 2006. For these 4 years, the percentage rise is more than 100. Therefore, our required answer is 4 years, which is option D. Option D is the right answer for this question. Option D is the right answer. Let us look at the second question related to this line graph. Here the second question is, what is the average of percentage rise over the given years? Here we need to calculate the average of percentage rise. All the values which are provided in this line graph are percentage rise. So we need to calculate the average of those values for all the years. As we all know that average is equal to what? Average is equal to sum of observations. Average is equal to sum of observations divided by number of observations. Average is equal to sum of observations divided by number of observations. That is the average. And now first we'll take all the values that we need to add in the numerator, and in the denominator we need to take it as number of years. How many values we are taking, or else number of years. So first note down what are the values are there. Here the value 40, first value, and it is between 40 and 60, therefore it is 50, and it is again 40, and next here it is 120, and this is 100, and next it is again 120, and this is 130, and this is 140. Okay, these are the values. Now you can add all these values. 40 plus 50 plus 40 plus 120 plus 100 plus 120 again plus 130 plus 140. That is a numerator value, and in the denominator you need to take the number of years. Number of years 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Total 8 years. So the denominator value is 8. Now you can add all the values in the denominator first. Here it is 120 plus 40, 160. 160 plus 40, 200. 200 plus 100, 300. So as of now we got 300. And next one, here 120 plus 130, it is 250. 250 plus 50, 300 again. 250 plus 50, 300. Finally you will be left over with 140. Now 300, 300, 600, 600 plus 140, which is 740. 740 divided by 8. Divided by 8. Now you can calculate this value. Here you can cancel with 4 table. 4 2s are. And next 4 1s are. After that 34. 34 means 4 8 times. After that 2 is left over. 20 means 5 times. 4 5s are 20. Alright. Now 185 divided by 2. 185 divided by 2, which is nothing but 2 9s and then 2 times 92.5. 92.5, that is the average of percentage rise over the given years. 92.5. That is our required answer, which is option D. Option D is the right answer for this question. Option D. Let us look at the third question. Here the third question is, for how many years percentage rise lower than, here percentage rise lower than the average of percentage rise over the given years. Here in order to solve this question, first of all you need to calculate the average percentage rise. Average percentage rise that we already calculated in the previous problem. In the previous problem we calculated percentage rise, average percentage rise over the given years. Here that value which we got it as 92.5, that is the average percentage rise over the given years. This value is equal to 92.5. 92.5. Now what he is asking is, suppose for example, whenever if this particular value is not calculated previously, first of all we need to calculate average percentage rise over the given years, as like previous problem. Once you got this 92.5, and then you can compare each and every individual value in the line graph and compare that value with this 92.5. Now what he is asking is, in how many years that particular percentage rise which are provided in the graph are lower in the sense less as comparing with the average. So you need to check it out which values are less than 92.5. Which values, for how many values the values are less than 92.5, which is average. First I will write down all the values. First value is 40 and next 50. Here it is 40, this is 120, this is 100, 120, 130, 140. These are the total 8 values that we have, right? So here 1999, that is 40. First year less than 92.5. Second year 50, the value is 50, that is also less than 92.5 in 2000. And 2001, that is 40. In 2001 also that value is less than 92.5. Now let us look at from 2002 onwards. From 2002 onwards the value is 120. It is greater than 92.5, you should not consider. 2003 value, it is also greater than 92.5, you should not consider. Here it is 120, greater than 92.5. 130, greater than 92.5. 140, greater than 92.5. So here 5 values are greater than 92.5. Only 3 values in these 3 years. In these 3 years, which are 99, 2000, 2001. In these 3 years, the percentage rise values are less than the average percentage rise. Less than the average percentage rise. Okay. Therefore, our required answer is 3 years. Option C is the right answer for this question. Option C. Fourth question. Here the fourth question is, for which of the given years is the percentage rise? See here, this is very important. For which of the given years is the percentage rise from the previous year as comparing with the previous year? In the percentage rise, the least. Here for which of the given years is the percentage rise? In the percentage rise, the least. And in brackets, one information is given which is 2001, 2003 not to be considered. 2001 and 2003. These values should not consider. What is the reason why these values are not considered? Can anyone guess it? Because the reason is, if you observe 2001 as comparing with the previous year, let us note it down all the values over there, 40, 50 and this is 40 again, this is 120, this is 100, this is 120, this is 130, this is 140, right? See, for 2001 as comparing with the previous year, value is decreases. So because of that reason, he is saying that 2001 not to be considered, and 2003 also same thing. 2003 as comparing with the previous year, that is 120. As comparing with previous year, this is 120, this is 100. That is decreases. Because of these two reasons, this reason, he is saying that 2001 and 2003, these values are not to be considered. Now, what we need to calculate is percentage rise. Percentage rise is nothing but percentage increment. Percentage increment is nothing but difference between those two values divided by less value. Percentage increment is nothing but difference between those values divided by less value into 100 percentage. So whenever we are calculating percentage increment or percentage decrement, that is always we need to compare that value with the previous year. So you need to start with 2000. You need to start with 2000. In 2000, what is the value? 2001 not to be considered, and after that 2002, and next 2003 not to be considered, 2004, 2005, 2006. These values we need to calculate, right? So first numerator value into 100 is a common point. That is the reason why I don't want to take into 100 for each and every value. First one 2000. As comparing with previous year, what is the difference between 99 and 2000? Here 40 and 50 difference is 10. Okay, difference is 10. So this value is 10 by previous less value, that is 40. 10 by 40. Whereas 2002, in 2002 the value is 120 and 2001 value is 40. Therefore, the difference between 120 and 40, which is 80, divided by previous year value 40. 80 by 40, second year. Next, 2004. In 2004, it is increased by 20. Difference between 2003 and 2004, difference is 120 divided by previous year value, which is 100. And next one 2005. In 2005, as comparing with previous year, the difference is 10. 120, 130 difference is 10 divided by previous year value, which is 2004 value. 2004 value, that is 120. And next divided by, and last value 2006. Here as comparing with the previous year, difference is 10 divided by previous year value, that is 130, or else lowest value 130 among those two, 10 by 130. Now if you observe carefully, here this value is greater than 100, greater than 1, and remaining values are less than 1. Remaining values are less than 1. So as we want the least value, directly you can eliminate 2002. If you want the highest value, your answer is 2002 is the highest value. But you want the lowest value, therefore your answer is not 2002. You can eliminate 2002. And cannot be determined is also not your answer. Now your answer is either 2000, 2004, 2005, 2006. Now if you observe the remaining values, here you can cancel with only two table. Why? Because all numerators, I am taking the numerators as 10. Here numerator 10, here also numerator 10, here also numerator 10, here also numerator 10. If numerators are equal, then compare the denominator values. Compare the denominator values. If denominator value is highest, with constant numerator, then that particular value is, then that particular fraction is lowest. Then that particular fraction is lowest. So check it out for which year denominator is highest. As the numerator values are constant in each and every year, 2000, 2004, 2005, 2006. in these 4 years, numerator is constant. So I am just comparing the denominator value. Denominator value 40 and 50. This is more. So you can eliminate 2000. And next 50 and 120. 120 is more. You can eliminate 2004. Next 120 and 130. 130 is more. So you can eliminate 2005. If denominator value is highest, then that particular fraction becomes least. Therefore, among all the options, 2005 is also eliminated. Your answer is 2006. In 2006, the percentage rise in the percentage rise, that is least. If the question is asked about the highest, then your answer will be 2002. Why? Because that is the only year which is having greater than 1. For all the remaining values, it is less than 1. Therefore, your answer is for this question, as he is asking about the least value, therefore your answer is 2006. Option C is the right answer for this question. Option C. Last question in this session. See here. If the production in 1998 was 10,000, here 1999, the year is starting with 1999, and he is saying that in 1998 the production value which is given as 10,000. Now according to the given information, every year production is increases, percentage rise. All the values which are provided in this line graph are percentage increment values. All the values are percentage increment values. So percentage rise is nothing but in each and every year values are increases. Okay. Now let's start with he is asking about which year. How much is the production in 2002? In 2002, how much is the production? Here in 98, 10,000. Here we need to calculate 99 and then 2000 and then 2001 and then 2002. So we need to go till 2002. We'll start with 99. In 99, percentage rise is 40%. It means 40% increases as comparing with previous year. So it is 140%. And next in 2000, value is increased by 50%. This is 40, this is 50, and this is 40, and this is 120. Okay. Now we need to take up to 2002. So first 99 value is increased by 40%. 2000 value is increased by 50% into 150 by 100. Every year values are increases as comparing with the previous year. You should not take 140 plus 50, 190. Every time you need to compare with 100 only. And next in 2001 it is increased by 40% again. Therefore it will be 140%. And in finally 2002 it is increased by 120%. As it is increased by 120%, then it will be 220%. 100 plus 120, that is 220%. This is the production. This is the production in 2002. That is the production. Now you can calculate all the values. Here total 4 zeros are there in the denominator. You can cancel 4 zeros. And coming to numerator, again 2 zeros cancel. 2 zeros, 2 more zeros cancel. Now your required answer is 14 into 14, which is equal to, that is 196 into 22 into 15. What is 22 into 15? Here it is 10, and this is 10 plus 1, 11, and this is 2, 2, 0, 3, 3, 330. 330. Now product of these two, that is our required answer. Product of these two. Here ending value is 0. So you just calculate 196 into 33. 196 into 33. Here 6 3s are 18. and next 3 nines are 27 plus 1 28, and next 3 ones are 3 plus 2 3 plus 2 5, and then after that again the same values will come. Why? Because the next number is also same thing. Now you can add all the values. Here it is 8 and it is 16 and it is 13 plus 1 14, and next it is 6 6 4 6 8 0. That is the production. That is the production in 2002. In 2002 the production 64,680 units. That is our required answer. Once look at the options, here option B is the right answer, 64,680 units. Option B is the right answer for this question. In this way you need to solve these kind of questions. Whenever the information is given related to percentage rise, every year the value is increases. Starting year value is less as comparing with ending year, undoubtedly. Why? Because every year value is increases, there is no decrement in the values. Here the decrement is based on this as comparing with the previous year. Percentage rise in percentage rise, that is decreases as comparing with previous year, but not the values. Every year values will be increases, okay, but as comparing with the previous year increment, this year increment is less. That is the meaning of this kind of statements. Okay, I hope you understand all the questions, and thank you. Thanks for watching. Hi everyone, welcome to the session. In this session, I am continuing case-led data interpretation. First of all, we need to read the information which is provided in the passage carefully, and then based on that we need to solve the questions. Here the passage which is given is very small passage, so that there might be a chance of getting the result in a quick approach. Why? Because sometimes this kind of simple passage will be given. Based on that passage, almost 5 questions will ask, right? So, and sometimes there might be a chance that even for small simple passage will also leads to a bigger challenges. Those kind of situations will also come into the picture in reality. So whenever you are solving these kind of small passages, you need to be very much cautious about each and every individual point. Why? Because here the information is very less. Here the information is very less, so that you need to read the information line by line carefully. First of all, the information is that out of 200 people who attended a marriage party, total 200 members are attended. Total 200 members are attended for marriage party. 100 members had a Golgape, 120 members had chicken tikka. See, the information is about what are the food items they had taken. That is the information. Here, out of 200 members, 100 members are taking Golgape. Golgape, that is 100 members. And whereas coming to chicken tikka, that is 120 members. Guys, from these two values itself, you can come to one conclusion that definitely there is some intersection between Golgape and chicken tikka. Why? Because if you add these two, if these two are different values, 100 plus 120, what it will be? 220. But the total number of people who are attended for the marriage, that is 200 only. It crosses this 200. So definitely there is an intersection between Golgape and chicken tikka. And one more value is also given, that is 40 had none of these two. This is very important. None of these two had 40 members. Like that, 40 members. It means neither goal cape nor chicken tikka. Nor chicken tikka. Now, from this, it is very clear that you can write down one more value. Here, one more value is also provided, that is 100 people had exactly one of two items. Exactly one. Exactly one in the sense you should not take both goal cape and chicken tikka together. So, exactly one. Exactly one item. Exactly one item. Likewise, 100 members. 100 members. Now, from this, you need to solve this puzzle, and you need to solve this, uh, draw the Venn diagram for two items. One is goal cape and chicken tikka. Definitely, there is an intersection point between these two. Why? Because here, if you add these two, you will get 220, which is more than total. And also, one more information is that number of people who are taking the any of the item, that is different. Here 40 members are not taking any of the food items. So total, how many members are taking at least one of the item, at least one item, at least one item, that is total 200 minus none of these two, that is 40. It means 160 members are taking at least one item. At least one item, 160 members. Now for these 160 members, you need to draw the diagram. Take this intersection of goal cape, and first one is goal cape, second one is chicken tikka. G and C. Always you need to fill with intersection point. Why? Because see, once you fill this particular information, then only you can go with only goal cape how many members, only chicken tikka how many members. Now if you observe carefully, out of this 160 members, at least who are taking one item, exactly there are two possible cases. One is exactly one item, and second one is two items, both two items, both, that is goal cape and chicken tikka. Now this particular exactly one item, this value is already given. Out of this 160, 100 members are eating exactly one item. So remaining 60 members are eating both the items, goal cape and chicken tikka, that is 60 members. So the intersection point of goal cape and chicken tikka, which is 60. Once you got this value, the remaining values are very easy. Here entire goal cape is 100. Out of this 100, 60 is already completed, right? So remaining only 40 is left over. And then after that, entire chicken tikka is 120. Out of this 120, 60 is already completed at this position. Still 60 is left over. Therefore, now from this it is very clear that this is the final Venn diagram. Now I'll just write down what are the individual values. Only goal cape, which is equal to 40. Only chicken tikka, that is 60. Both goal cape and chicken tikka, that is 60. Neither goal cape nor chicken tikka, that is 40. These are the total values. Now if you add all these four values, you will get 200. That is the information from the given passage. From this 3 lines of passage, you need to solve this much of calculation. So even though the information is less, it is very much cautious about the solution while solving it. Okay, this is the information. Now look at the first question. Here is the first question. How many people had both the given items? Had both the given items? See, how many people had both the given items? See, the both the given items. If you look at the options, both given items in the sense both chicken tikka and golgape, that is 60. Both golgape and chicken tikka 60 members. Once look at the options. Among the options, option D is the right answer for this question. Option D. Both the items in the sense you need to take golgape and also chicken tikka together. Golgape and also chicken tikka together, that is 60 members. 60 people are taking both together. Now look at the second question. See, how many persons does not like chicken tikka? How many persons does not like chicken tikka? See, these are the members who are liking chicken tikka, right? So 60 plus 60, 60 plus 60, 120 members are liking chicken tikka out of total 200. Out of total 200, 120 members are liking chicken tikka. So those who are not liking chicken tikka, not liking chicken tikka, that is equal to total number of people minus those who are liking chicken tikka. Those who are liking chicken tikka, that is equal to total number of no persons are 200 minus those who are liking chicken tikka, which is 120. Therefore the required answer is 80. 80 members are not liking chicken tikka. Once look at the options. Among the options, option B is the right answer for this question. Option B. Now look at the third question. Here is the third question. This is the third one. Person who likes only golgape, this particular value, only golgape, is what percentage more or less than the person who likes only chicken tikka? So first of all, you need to write down what is only golgape and what is only chicken tikka. Only golgape is 40, only chicken tikka is 60. Write down those two values over there. This is 40 and this is 60. Only golgape is 40. This particular 40 is definitely less as comparing with 60, right? This particular value, only golgape value is definitely less than 40 is less than chicken tikka value 60. So you need to calculate percentage less than. You need to calculate percentage less than. Basically, how can you calculate percentage less than? Difference between those two values. Here, which two values you need to take? Only golgape and only chicken tikka. That is the difference that you need to take it out. Divided by more value. Divided by more value or high value. More value into 100 percentage. Whenever you are calculating percentage into 100 percentage symbol, that is the common point. This is a way of calculating percentage less than, right? Therefore the required percentage less than is equal to, what is the answer? Here one value is 40, one value is 60, the difference is 20, divided by high value which is 60. 20 by 60 into 100 percentage, that is equal to, here it is 1/3. 20 by 60, 1/3. 1/3 of 100, which is equal to, here the options are given in terms of decimals. So you just calculate with decimals only. 33.33 percentage. That is the percentage less value. Percentage less than is equal to 33.33 percentage. Once look at the options. Among the options, option D is the right answer for this question. Option D. Next, question number 4. See here, what is the maximum possible number of people who had only chicken tikka. Who had only chicken tikka. See, maximum possible number of people who are taking only chicken tikka. That means you need to take only chicken tikka value. Only chicken tikka. How many members are taking only chicken tikka? That is 60 only, right? 60. Only maximum possible is definitely 60. Why? Because if you look at the Venn diagram, already 60 members are opting to take both the items. Both the items are 60 members. So the maximum possible of taking only chicken tikka. Only chicken tikka is 60. That is the only possible case. Here he is asking us that not chicken tikka, only chicken tikka. Both are different. If he is asking about chicken tikka, then your answer will be 120. Here he is asking us to calculate only chicken tikka. In that scenario, you need to take only chicken tikka. It should not containing the goal gap value. So the required answer for this question is 60. Among the options, option D is the right answer for this question. Option D. Now look at the fifth question. See here, problem number 5. Last one. What is the ratio between? Here we need to calculate the ratio. Ratio between number of people who likes only Colgate, to the number of persons who like chicken tikka. Now, here it is very important. You need to take the ratio of only Colgate is to the number of people who are liking chicken tikka. Number of people who are liking chicken tikka. Only Colgate, that is 40 members. 40 members are liking only Colgate. Whereas coming to chicken tikka, he is not asking us to take only chicken tikka. He is asking us to take entire chicken tikka who are liking. Entire chicken tikka value, that is 120. That is 120. 120 members are liking only chicken tikka. Now you need to take the ratio of these two. Here 41 are 43 times. Therefore the required ratio of number of people who are liking only Colgate to the number of people who are liking only chicken tikka, which is 1:3. 1:3. That is the required answer. Once look at the option. Option D is the right answer for this question. Option D. Guys, in this way you need to solve the problems based on this model. Even though the information is very less, you need to do some calculations. It is not that much of easy task to get the final result from the very less information. So you need to be very much cautious about each and every individual statement, and also each and every individual word is also plays a major role for these kind of small passages. Why? Because only Colgate, only chicken tikka, Colgate, chicken tikka, all these individual values are different. So while solving these problems, you need to be very much cautious about the information. Okay guys, I hope you understand each and every problem in this session. Thank you. Thanks for watching.